Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Listen here, this is a fact of life. I be rapping like Nat Turner came back to life. Grab Donald Trump by the pussy, he ain't acting right. I never run from a conflict, I be glad to fight. It's a very cold world that we live in. And somebody please tell Elizabeth you're not an Indian. You just trying to con them people to get the benefit. Just another immigrant, stealing from the Indians. That's some punk ass shit and that's too lame. Now we finna step over to Andrew Yang. And you a sucker, you could never speak for black folks. Fake ass pandemic, trying to get the black vote. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You know your boy be high off sativa. Kamala wasn't popping, so we said bye, Felicia. She ain't had a right policy. We ain't trying to meet her. Y'all can take Biden too. Bye, we don't need him. We don't need Roland Martin or that coon Al Sharpton. Didn't need Cory Booker from the start, man. I don't fuck with police and no snitch. You know I'm coming with the heat when I spit it. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. If you ever go to court and this is your luck, try not to get fucked by Benjamin Crump. I know it's hard. You and go is hard. But who the fuck is Amy Cloak? Put her picture up on the bullseye and start throwing darts. People cut our organs out our bodies, that's a stolen heart. They can't save us from the flood like Noah's Ark. Black lives always matter, we finna go for ours. So then we savages, we don't need to pot the piss. Mike Bloomberg can suck dick with that stop and frisk. You ain't speaking for us, we don't know you. Bernie Sanders, they get your funky ass on too. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me.
I'm talking about shout it going crazy. People going crazy in them motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it's nothing. Nothing. Got a woman on the bed. Man made the car. Carry the heavy load. Man made the electrolyte to take us out of the dark. Man made the pump for the water like the 7-no-meter. Man thinks about a little bit of baby girl and a baby boy. Make them happy because man make them dark. But after man make everything we can, do you know that man makes money? To buy from other men. This is a man
we're back with continuation of the season 5, episode 10, part 3 of the Front Line Blacc News. I'm your host, Shane Crewman. I'm with Lady Che as well. Hopefully this will be the last show of the night, and we shall see. And on this season 5, episode 10, part 3, continuation of the Front Line Blacc News, we'll be discussing the topics we didn't get to on part 3. And those are
Want water? Loud as
what? Those are Moment of Truth by Professor Black Truth about Thomas Sowell. You can't learn a thing from a dummy. Then we got Tether fatigue is real. Not only do we have Mayo fatigue, but we got Tether fatigue. Then we got ICE will go anywhere illegal immigrants are located to meet 3,000. Arrest Quota. That's another topic too. FBAs are sitting silent while ICE use aggressive tactics for mass deportations. Then Tether herself, Ilhan Omar, comes to Denver and it was on Jeff Fart's show. We already told y'all about Jeff Fart. It's a Democratic shield. Boulder, Democratic shield. It's like our version of Roly Poly Martin. He interviewed her, and then a day later, there was a terrorist attack in Boulder against the Israelis. Boulder attack, terrorist attack. They're already calling it a hate crime. Murderous firebomb attack, plan revealed. Funds set up to help those injured in June 1st attack on Pearl Street Mall in Boulder. And if we have time, our local Denver news, our Unhoused neighbor news, and our illegal migrant news and deportations. Please join us on STREAMYARD, YouTube, Front Line Blacc News. Links to all of our channels are in the description. So I'm going to hop right into it because we already pressed for time. So the first one's about Thomas Sowell. The hell with him.
Channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button now, along with the bell icon, so you can be notified whenever a new video is posted. And if you're already subscribed, check and make sure that YouTube hasn't unsubscribed you. And of course, be sure to give the video a like as well as share it on your social media. The white supremacists hate that. And now, the Sunday address. Last week, I put boot to lard bottom on that clown Jason Whitlock. But when it comes to these bootlicks and scumbags, they tend to run in packs, like cockroaches. So what I'm going to do is to address not so much a person as to use this as an object lesson to illustrate a mentality that runs through these chumps and how they try to simultaneously exploit our community and yet fool the gullible into thinking they're in favor of our community. I don't like giving these fools any oxygen in this case. I actually resent it when people mention certain names in my comment section, so what I'll do is what I did with Ben Shapiro, who I refer to as BS. For the sake of this discussion, let's call our example a dummy. This fool got cooked long ago, and he pathetically tried to make a career out of attacking reparations, but apparently that wasn't as lucrative as he hoped it would be. Now, I don't pay any attention to people who are not productive and who are clout chasing. These people are the epitome of faking it till you make it. And even without knowing anything about this particular person, just looking at him and the way he tries to present himself, I immediately said, I'll bet he's some kind of wannabe financial guru who's got some course he's trying to peddle, right? That train's never late. I guess people haven't learned from the whole Tulsa real estate fiasco, but there's one born every minute, and unfortunately, in an era of low wages and high unemployment, there's always people willing to fall hook, line, and sinker for any moron who comes along claiming he's making millions, and of course the punchline is he can teach you how to do it too. Now, any Negro who talks about black generational wealth while at the same time attacking reparations and attacking black people, this is not an advocate, he's an adversary. And why would you take any financial advice from someone who has openly said he doesn't want to see black people get money that's owed to us? And when you look at these online financial gurus, they stink right off the bat. Tell me something, family. Has anyone ever seen Warren Buffett offering some "I'll teach you to be rich" course? How about Mark Cuban or Jeff Bezos? Dave Ramsey has some self-help books, and he has a so-called class that claims to teach people how to get out of debt. Admittedly, I don't care for Dave Ramsey. He strikes me as a good old boy with his head in the clouds. But I will say that he doesn't make the grandiose promises that some of these professional BS artists we see online keep making. If someone's offering you a "I'll make you rich" course or some book that's supposed to do the same, that's how these people make their money, family. Off their courses and their books. And that particular hustle is as old as publishing itself. Now, the clown I'm talking about is basically a Temu version of John Hope Bryant. There's another piece of work who does the same thing. You can't say a word about black people if you pretend that black people are in the same boat as everyone else. You can't truly pretend that you're addressing our concerns from that standpoint. It's intellectually dishonest and morally cowardly to try the all things being equal talk when we're discussing black people's position relative to everyone else. Our position is not the result of what we did, it's what was done to us. Slavery was not something that we did to ourselves, that was something that was done to us. And the brief period of Reconstruction, which is the closest this country came to actually pretending that it would approach the issue of black equality, the end of that was not something we chose. It was something that white Democrats and Republicans chose. Same goes for Jim Crow, the destruction of the Black Wall Streets, redlining, housing discrimination, job discrimination, all of which continues to the present day, all the way up until today. These are things that were done to us. Now, if you want to try to wag your finger at a few black people who are misbehaving at the local Walmart, they are a small minority and they are economically irrelevant to the position of the black majority. So when you see these two-bit professional BS artists talking about finances and they allude vaguely, very vaguely, to black people, that's because they're ultimately trying to be accepted by and appeal to a white audience. That's the dirty little secret of these phony financial mouthpieces. Especially ones like this fool in particular. They all want to be Grant Cardone or Scott Galloway or some other white guy who gets paid big to talk about money. And you can only do that if you gather a large white following. And as I've said to you for over 17 years, every black person in America knows that if you're trying to ingratiate yourself with the dominant society, the easiest road to do it is to go ahead and deny the reality of race. Barack Obama did that at the 2004 DNC convention. Here you had a man standing giving the keynote address and saying there is no black America, there is no white America, only the United States of America. And we keep hearing this from all of these fakers, frauds, phonies, and fools. So when you have the black grassroots making noise about what we're owed, these hit dogs, and dogs is what they are, will be the first ones to say, "I don't want you getting reparations because that's going to mess things up for me." That lets you know whose side they're on. There's only two types of black people. Those who are trying to tear down white supremacy and those who are hoping to find a comfortable place under it. Well, as a wise man once said, it's no measure of health to be adjusted to a sick society. The same sellout mentality that was on the plantations is alive and well today. This is why I love the issue of reparations. It is a wonderful political issue because it's truth serum. You can't sugarcoat it. You can't sidestep it. It uniquely threatens the dominant society. So if you're some bootlicking, buck-dancing clown who tries to pretend that they're on the side of black people, go ahead and bring up reparations and then watch as they look over at Massa. Oh, Massa ain't gonna like that. And then these fools will show you where they really stand, where they've always stood. They can't say, well, you know what? Black people aren't owed reparations. So instead what they say is, well, it just wouldn't do any good. That's the lie that they go to. They have to reassure their would-be white sponsors and donors that they're not like the rest of these agitating troublemakers over here. No different than the plantations. While the Nat Turners were saying we have to burn down this wicked house, you always had the ancestors of these modern-day sellouts saying, "Massa, we got a good house here, and I ain't gonna let them troublemakers do nothing to it. I don't want to see none of y'all's gets free, cause y'all wouldn't do nothing with freedoms anyways." Don't you know that there were Negroes talking like that all throughout slavery? And we still see it today. People like this live in their own little dream world full of media fantasies and their own self-imposed ignorance. For example, a popular falsehood spouted by a dummy is that, well, these immigrants, they work harder than black Americans, don't you know? I did an entire video that totally debunked that talking point. And if you want to know what a lie the whole immigrants work harder than black people thing happens to be, Trump's putting in place all of his travel bans and such. And the main thing that these corporations are being forced to admit is, well, it's not a matter of immigrants working harder, it's working cheaper. And that being the case, because it's good for corporate profits at the cost of quality, far as they're concerned, they have to defend a particular practice because it's good for the bottom line. And of course, people like this are too slow to understand because they take their talking points from idiots like Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell was the person most responsible for the lie that black immigrants come to the U.S. and just immediately do better than black Americans, etc. He wasn't the only person pushing that lie, but he was the one most responsible for popularizing it. No. That's a lie. They do their best to blend in with us and take advantage of the opportunities that we made available to them. There's a reason why there were a lot less non-white immigrants to the U.S. prior to the 1960s. And even the ones who got in, they hardly had these thriving metropolises and all of this upward mobility. That only happened after the 1960s. It wasn't because of their own hard work dent in industry. It was because of policy changes that we forced on the system. And it was the result of white power needing to co-opt them to be a political counter-lever against us and the increasingly dangerous demands that we were making. They needed to confuse our internal politics, and that's what happened. Black immigrants try to simultaneously swing on our coattails while at the same time telling white employers and recruiters that they're not one of us. Now, of course, it's not all of them who do that, but enough do. White power sees this, and it recognizes the opportunity there, and because we had been on the whole Pan-African kick for so long, we allowed it to happen, right up until the moment we stopped. It's amazing how you have these idiots who idolize fools like Thomas Sowell. They can't tell you anything that he says about economics, but they know the white right likes Sowell, and Sowell says asinine absurdities about black people. And if you're a dummy who thinks of himself as some sort of edgelord, this is the guy that you want to emulate because you think it sounds smart. Well, these anti-reparations financial gurus do have one thing in common with Thomas Sowell. Nobody takes them seriously either. Thomas Sowell's supposed to be an economist, but serious economists call him a joke. There's a reason that nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, ever refers to Thomas Sowell's scribblings on economics. Even white right-wingers don't refer to him. For as long as he was an alleged economist, shouldn't he have written something, published something, put forward a theory of some sort, something that demonstrated he had made a contribution to his chosen field? Instead, he would simply regurgitate Milton Friedman's greatest hits. And the white right-wingers who pretended to respect him all these years, they don't care what he has to say about the actual thing that matters, the economy, which is supposed to be his chosen field of expertise. Don't believe me? Thomas Sowell first started getting put on television around the early 1980s. He was basically the white right's black friend, trying to be counter-programming against all of the black voices that were seen on television throughout the late 60s up until the 70s. When the economy crashed in the late 1970s, about the time Thomas Sowell was being put on TV, does anyone remember what Thomas Sowell said about that? How about when the Great Recession of 1989 crashed the economy? Anyone remember what Thomas Sowell said about that cataclysm? Or the impact of Bill Clinton's policies on the economy during the 90s? Anyone remember what Sowell said about that? When you had all of those corporations crash during W's first term, I'm talking about Enron, WorldCom, Tyco, Sunbeam, Adelphia, anyone remember what Thomas Sowell said about all of these companies crashing during a Republican's term of office? And a few years later, when the bottom fell out of the economy in 2008 during W's second term, anyone remember what Sowell, the economist, said about that? And then you look at the current economic train wreck going on. Anyone recall what Thomas Sowell's pearls of wisdom are on that? Of course not. He's an economist, but nobody cares what he thinks about the economy. So when some idiot is praising Thomas Sowell, they literally have no clue what they're talking about. Thomas Sowell is only boosted by white right-wing elitists because he's one of the few Negroes dumb enough to spout that level of gibberish. His so-called degree in economics is a token piece of paper. It's merely meant to credentialize a bootleg. He's not respected for his intelligence. He's just put on radio to say, I'm black and I have an economics degree, and let me tell you what I think about race. What does race have to do with the economy? Nothing, but I'm black and I have a degree, so that gives me expertise. See, I'm credentialized. The biggest lie the devil ever pulled was to convince the world that he didn't exist. But we showed the world the devil does exist. So now we have the devil's minions saying, okay, the devil exists, you got us, but he's not really doing that much evil anymore, only minor stuff, and that was a long time ago. So the devil does exist, but he's not really a problem, not anymore. That's what the lie is these days. Now, in what universe does that even make sense? Immigrants don't work harder than Black Americans. I've demonstrated how they get set-asides and other handouts. Many of them move to more financially active areas, but even so, they don't outperform the people who already live there. And were it not for anti-Black policies, Black people would outperform everyone. For example, the Biden administration was successfully suing banks for redlining Black people. And that was just 2 years ago. These white financial and banking entities systematically lock Black entrepreneurs out of the kind of funding that they freely give to immigrants. This makes it where it takes far longer for a Black business to get started, makes it take far longer for those Black businesses to scale up and expand. And since so many businesses in general rely on revolving lines of credit from banks, it makes it far more likely that a Black business will fail because they don't have that kind of economic underpinning. Even when you get things going on your own, these zoning boards and other governmental entities attack Black businesses. That's not a question of hard work. It's a question of deliberate, targeted resource deprivation against one particular group. No other group is subjected to any one of those things, and yet Black people are subjected to all of them. And then we get these sellouts and snakes in the grass who sit there blaming Black people for all of these things that are done against us. It makes very little sense to be constantly lecturing Black people about, well, Black people need to get their act together financially. Whenever you point to Black people who have, you also see that virtually all of them come under attack by these people who either bring some sort of lawsuit against them, or they become the subject of some DA's prosecution, or the government says you're doing something wrong and we got to shut you down. Why does no one ever talk about that? Because for these wannabe race grifters, it would put a jinx on their hustle. Hell, Dr. King was talking about this back in the 1960s, but I don't expect a dummy to know that. They don't do this to immigrants. They get capital based on being immigrants. There's all kinds of programs and set-asides for them. And also because many of them got an education in their home countries. Black students have perpetual war waged on them, like what we see people such as Ed Blum doing with his nuisance suits against universities to try to scare them out of Black college admissions. And he's also been systematically attacking Black business incubators as well. Again, do you see these white right-wingers attacking anything that supports immigrant businesses? This is how immigrants go from having no net worth to having the same as everyone else overnight because it's handed to them. They don't have all of these roadblocks in their way. And it's not even impressive because we have a minimum wage in America, whereas in their own home countries, no such thing exists. But a dummy didn't tell you that, did he? To the point that immigrants are successful, people like this don't know why, how, or to what extent. This is an idiot doing their impersonation of what they think a smart person sounds like. When you have a pervasive system of targeted racism, it's far easier to make excuses for it than it is to fight against it. Admitting there's a problem is hard. Denying it is easy. And we can tell which one a dummy chooses. And in the Black community, if Black people stop going to certain restaurants and hair and nail shops, a lot of these immigrants' so-called success would dry up overnight. The same way Soul was shamelessly butt-kissing, these new fraudsters were doing the same. And I also noticed virtually all these creeps were peddling some kind of financial guru course or advice or whatever. We talk Black group economics and Black empowerment, and these charlatans try to imitate some of our verbiage, but they represent none of our ideals. At least with Jason Whitlock, he has the honesty, if it can be called that, not to pretend to be a financial guru. Whitlock is a fool whose acumen about sports goes no further than a drunk in a bar. The only thing to respect about Whitlock, and I put respect in quotes, and you should take this with a ton of salt, at least Whitlock has the sense to stay in his lane. He tries to race grift by giving his uninformed opinion about sports while constantly saying that Black people are doing this, that, and a third. He doesn't then try to offer some I'll make you rich advice. We've seen this before with the fraud, aka Crispy, and Jesse Lee Peterson and others. You can tell when some Negro is desperately auditioning for some white media company to give them a TV deal, or they're trying to get the attention of someone at a streaming service, or they're hoping to get some white corporation to sponsor them, so they can try to parlay their audience into some sort of deal to be on some big white media website like the Daily Wire. They hope to become the next Candace Owens. These clowns ought to ask Candace Owens how much money did she actually make when she was at the Daily Wire. It didn't pay that well. That's why she struck out on her own. But that's the hustle. Say outrageous stuff about Black people to get some quick and dirty clout, then try to get into the algorithm by talking about whatever is trending at the moment that's anti-Black, and then shoehorn negative remarks about Black people into it. They can be talking about the man on the moon, just say that black people stole the moon or something, and then pimp your ignorant audience to some corporation for white sponsorship money. But you know, that can't work for a dummy. You can't be an influencer when you've got no influence. That's the lesson of Crispy. He had an audience, such as it was, and they were a large audience, but they were also worthless. Same went for Issa Rae, by the way. She ran the same hustle. Look at how much money her crowdfunding for her Awkward Black Girls series raised, and then look at how the new voices of black media smoked her. And did it all without the untold millions in free advertising that she got from all of those white media outlets who were constantly pushing her to people who didn't want to hear what she had to say. See, white power wants to be able to pick and choose winners, and it's not based on merit or talent, but based on how useful they are to the status quo. Someone should tell these mouth-breathing bootlicks that Ben Shapiro can get a white fracking billionaire to sponsor the Daily Wire, and Steve Bannon can get a tech billionaire to sponsor Breitbart, and Roger Ailes can get a billionaire to sponsor Fox News. But none of those white power brokers, or any black ones for that matter, are going to sponsor some Temu version of Jason Whitlock. When you see these idiots attacking reparations, just remember, they're angry because they think we're going to make it awkward for them when they're trying to kiss some white producer or talent agent's rump. Go ahead and say something that makes the dominant society feel threatened or merely uncomfortable, and you can bet on cue these butter biscuit bootlicks will put on their ragged little capes and come flying, or rather waddling, to the rescue. They'll pretend to be on black people's side, but you let black people as a group say this is something we want that the dominant society doesn't like, and they'll be sitting here going, what are you niggers doing? Y'all shouldn't be saying anything. Y'all just need to be quiet. Yeah, they'll show their true colors when you put massa under pressure. These asinine Thomas Sowell wannabes aren't very bright. That's why they're Thomas Sowell wannabes. Ask yourself this question. Have you ever seen a dummy speak up vociferously for issues like an anti-black hate crime law? Do people like that ever speak up for an issue such as that? Or if you raise the subject with them, do you think that they would say, well, what about black on black crime? You think that would be the response instead? And the same way people like this try to use gibberish and babbling about financial figures, they would also try the same thing to justify why the real problem is black people. You can bet on that. We got a bunch of fools and clowns who are actively working against black people's interests, and because the white media is not our friend, these idiots can find their way onto some radio station or what have you. When they hear that kind of talk, they go, oh, this is the kind of Negro we want on the air. Fools like this are diametrically opposed to the interests of the black community, and black people ought to know better than to waste their time listening to a dummy. But there's also one other thing that needs to be kept in mind when dealing with these backstabbing, butt-kissing race grifters. These individuals sooner or later run out of butter biscuits. White power has no permanent plans for any of them. And the same way that you saw Candace Owens turn and start biting the hand that was feeding her as she began looking for a new hand to sprinkle her plate with butter biscuits, before it's all over, this fool will end up the same way. When white supremacy's done with its tools, it breaks its tools. It doesn't matter how loudly you were singing their song. It doesn't matter how viciously you attacked black people. At the end of the day, they had no permanent plans for any of these tools. So yeah, that's the way that this story is going to end. And when that occurs, and this clown calls themselves slithering back to black people, make sure you tell a dummy that he needs to go and get his support either from immigrants or from the ghost of Thomas Sowell or from whatever white billionaire fracking executive he was desperately hoping to grift some money from. Because the black community, we're simply too lazy and too incompetent to be able to support a genius like a dummy. Good evening. And be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors: Amir Miller, Richard Allen Lovell, Latavius, Pharrell Taylor, and Terrence Welch. Salute to them, and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.
To hell with them yes bosses like Thomas Sowell, like goddamn Jason Hamhock, Antoine Coon-ass Daniels, Brandon Officer Tatum, and etc. Them motherfuckers do not speak for us. And like the good professor laid out, Thomas Sowell is just another goddamn tether. And Lord knows I got tether fatigue. I'm so sick of these damn yes bosses. in this country and abroad. Make me sick to my stomach, Mac 285. Oh, what are your thoughts, Lady Che?
Same thing. Why do you hand it to me?
Because I can hear you.
Same thing. I feel the same way. I've never took financial advice from that or anything, or I barely know who that motherfucker is. He's that irrelevant. So, if he wasn't talking, not speaking to my revolutionary fucking black nationalist side, or fucking anything else that I'm interested in, I really don't care for it. You know what I mean? So, I really don't like to see them on regular TV or the news, or I care who's promoting them. So we already know, we kind of already know that he's a sham. So let's stay away from all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do the yes of Boston on either side, the Democratic side or the Republican side. So, all right, let's get back to these illegals. So they're still wondering why FBA is quietly sitting, eating our popcorn, minding our own FBA business, while ICE uses aggressive tactics for mass deportations. So Uncle Phil's going to give us an update on that.
So we're going to look at some more footage of what's happening with the mass deportations that's going on. Now, I want you to check out how they're going to court and ICE is waiting on them at court, even when they get out, to gaffle them up. Now, you remember also the Democrats. Anytime some law enforcement trying to do something, Democrats trying to throw themselves in front of these people, listen, it's a different day and time, definitely. So I want you to check out these clips and check out our brother, what he has to say, and we're going to build off of that.
Just so you know, he has a case reset for 30 days from now.
That's
okay. But he has to be here in 30 days.
And you just gotta come down here, please.
Ellos dicen que vaya con él.
Okay, so you gotta come down here. Let's do it. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, just so you guys know, they have 30 days. They have to get back into the court. They have 30 days.
No.
I'd ask you to come with me, please. Right down his legs. Right ahead.
This is my constituent. No, you don't touch me. Do not touch me.
I need you to go over there.
I need you to not touch me.
A federal arrest.
Do not touch me.
Come on.
Come on.
Let's go. Come on.
Please don't touch me. No,
You're obstructing a federal arrest right now. Do you understand that? Let's go. You can be charged. Hey! Stop! You're gonna get injured. Stop that. Stop. You're under arrest for this. She's under arrest. You're under arrest.
What are you doing? Why are you arresting her?
You have to back away. Back away. You gotta back away. Back away. Get your hands off of us. Stop right there. Stop.
So there are many people asking, why are black people eating popcorn as millions of people are being deported? Asians, Cubans, Venezuelans, lots more than that. Colombians. You know why? Because y'all brought y'all stupid country after all the wars and all the battles and all the people that have died from those horrific, vile white supremacists, and y'all came to this country and said, you know what? We picked that. If we tell you they fucking disgusted and putridly racist, you believe us, but you wanted to bypass us. Okay, so right now, we're at whatever popcorn shop sells popcorn, and we're in our living rooms, and we're watching all of y'all get deported one by one, 2 by 2, 500,000 by 500,000, and we love it for you because you disrespected us and not bowed down and respected all the pain and horrors that everyone black has been through to get you those rights that you came to this country from, leaving that country you came from. We don't give a good God shit about none of y'all. the kids, the women, the old men, the young women, the grandmas, the whoever. We don't give a shit. Y'all voted for y'all people to get fucked by those disgusting white supremacists. Live with it. Popcorn season.
Let me explain why that brother feels the way he feels. Because some people say, oh my God, I mean, what we see on these videos, it's horrible, it's inhumane, it's look what they're doing to women and children. Look what they're doing to these people. They haven't done anything. Yeah, we've seen that during the crack epidemic. A lot of innocent people was treated the exact same way. And nobody cried about any of that in our neighborhoods. I remember a lot of that stuff happening. Definitely. But the reason why a lot of black people, especially like this brother saying we're not saying much or nothing, is because let's really go through it. Come on, let's do a history lesson. For a very long time, even during the civil rights movement, our civil rights leaders wanted to ally with the Latino community. And LULAC, in particular, Felix Terrorina, said he did not want to ally with the Negro. Let him fight his own battles. That's what he said. They were trying to do black and brown way back then. Then you fast forward, continue, hey, black and brown, that's black and brown, black and brown, black and brown. And it was black people asking to have this black and brown coalition. And Brown collectively rejected it. They wanted to side with the white supremacists collectively. I'm not saying as individuals. I'm not saying there haven't been some individual Hispanic people that's been, down, cool, good people. I'm not talking about those individuals. We're talking about the collective group. You didn't want to get involved with anything. You want to keep quiet about racism, white supremacy as a collective. You didn't want to unify. And black people all the way up, at least into the 2024 election, kept saying black and brown, black and brown. We never heard brown and black. We had people like Nuri Martinez trying to do things to harm black people in LA.
Yeah.
You understand? But after this election, and after people seen the exit poll, and after a lot of FBAs saw that, wait a minute, hold on. Did they vote the way I think they just voted? Oh, no. We done. We don't want to hear it no more. We don't want to see nothing. We're done. There's no more coalitions. It's over. I bet you right now they wish they had a black and brown coalition. Because if they had a true black and brown coalition, they probably wouldn't be in the position they're in right now. But matter of fact, I can tell you they wouldn't be in the position they're in right now. See what happens when black people reach out and give you an olive branch? You see that? Reach out, gave you an olive branch, and you rejected it. You threw it away. You said, I don't want that. I want to go side with the people who has historically harmed your Latin American homeland. The reason why the cartel is running around doing what it's doing is because of them. Because they really wanted to stop the cartels. They could have did that a long time ago. They got the military and the technology to stop the cartels. The cartels cannot beat the U.S. military. They allow the cartels to be there to benefit. But your homelands and these corrupt governments you have, they are the ones that keep your government corrupt. Because anytime you get a leader that want to do good in Latin America, they either gonna make a coup or something they're gonna lose their life or her life. It's happened so many times. No different than like in the African continent. Even after the history of how these people have done your people, you come all the way up here to America and side with the people that harm your people in Latin America? You can read that in the book Confessions of an Economic Hitman. What they done in Latin America. My thing is, you side with these people, you selling out other Latinos. And when you had a chance to get a true ally who really know these people, the FBAs, you said you didn't want it. Some of you even dug deep into your own anti-black racism. Some of you. And now, what is that anti-black racism getting you? Because surely not the black people grabbing you up at a court hearing. It's not us doing it. We're not busting out your windows. We're not storming in your home. We're not on the job sites calling in on you. We're not doing any of that. It's them same people that you wanted to ally with. The people that harmed your people. That's the reason why you're up here in this nation, is because what they done in your own. That's why you're here. Maybe in the future, people all over the world will realize you don't side with the people that collectively harmed your community. And you for sure side with the people who fight for righteousness and justice like we always have. That's why black people are like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm all good. I don't want to hear that. Cause that's why. Don't because someone's like, oh, black people, they're showing their true colors. No, sir and ma'am. Y'all showed your true colors a long time ago when you did not want to ally with the black community. You could have had the greatest ally known to man, and you rejected it. So y'all got to go and discuss that as a community at this point. Like, why did we do that? Why? What? It wouldn't have cost us nothing to ally. It wouldn't have cost us a freaking thing, right? But ICE is going to continue doing what they're doing, and they're not stopping no time soon. And I'm gonna tell you what, just some of the way they even approaching y'all, because I know these people. Some of these dudes are straight up racist, man. I see the racism on them, the way they even talking to y'all. Or like, it's like, I know, brothers and sisters, when you watch them videos, you literally can see the racism on them dudes. I know I'm not the only one that can see it. You literally can see the hate they have. They hate them. They hate y'all. And y'all really thought they was your friend? When we told y'all them people not to be trusted? They can never be nobody's friend? They only care about themselves? A lot of them are racist, bro. Racist. And they've been given a green light to go at you. And this would have never happened if y'all would have sided with us with reparations. None of this would never happen. So I always tell people, you don't believe fat meat is greasy until you find out. If you really find out, right?
Yep.
But we're gonna, if these videos keep coming across our desk, we're gonna show y'all. We'd rather show you better than tell you.
Hey, Leonard, B1 salute.
This is the consequences of not accepting the allyship of FBAs. Now FBA's saying like, we don't know ally with nobody. Nah, we good. And that's for other groups, that's a terrible thing.
Mm-hmm. We loving every minute of it. All right, thoughts, Lady Che.
Like, what kind of thoughts can I have? I just let my thoughts out like 2 shows ago.
You get what you vote for.
What? Like, no, I'm saying, like, can they come back around my neighborhood again?
Shit, they don't round it up all kinds of motherfuckers out there.
Like, I think he forgot some.
Yeah, they must have do another
you know what I mean? Like,
sweep through.
He forgot some. And the mayor's a goddamn liar. While you're at it, arrest his ass too.
Yeah, Kaufman and Johnson.
Not Kaufman.
Or Johnson, arrest his ass.
Yeah, arrest his ass.
He said he was down to get arrested for the illegal, so it's time to show and prove.
You should have got arrested when he went to lie in Congress.
Mm-hmm.
You mean, like, I mean, he lied.
Well, now we about to go into a recession as a result of this clown.
Yeah. I don't really got nothing to say, but I know that we only had one sanctuary, alleged sanctuary city, and everybody else is backing out. Like, look, Denver's on its own.
Yep.
And Denver is on its own. And now they kind of like not talking about immigrants and whatnot. They're slowly not talking about that anymore.
Yeah.
And that shit is still amusing because we still bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
Because
we keep changing the terminology for these motherfuckers. They're illegal aliens, illegal immigrants. They're not newcomers. They're not new arrivals. They're illegal fucking immigrants.
The thing is, like, they don't want to talk about it, but we just keep bringing it up because, we have to. We just have to keep bringing it up. And I guess city council, I should advocate for one more motherfucking day for Juneteenth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hold it. One more day for Juneteenth, and they just was like on some other shit. So,
Yeah, well, they gave Cinco de Mayo 3 days.
3 days. Every festivity is 3 days. Because Pride got a whole month.
Pride is done. They in the dumps too. They ain't gonna have enough for their stupid shit. Go ahead.
So all that shit is happening, and we about to be like a poor state, but you can't tell with all the money they're spending. So you can tell that the people are poor. White people are not poor here. It seems like white people making all the financial decisions.
Yeah.
And the regular people are still at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, so we enjoying it. We're gonna keep sipping on our popcorn. We're gonna keep eating on our popcorn.
Keep shoulder shrugging.
We keep shoulder shrugging and minding our own FBA business. So moving along, I got the cheddar fatigue. Lord knows I got cheddar fatigue. I got mayo fatigue. I got coon fatigue, and I got cheddar fatigue. So our brother Church of Black Power agrees with me. He has cheddar fatigue as well, and he says cheddar fatigue is real. So let's see what the our Watts brother Church of Black Power got to say.
Warning. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
So what I'm saying now is that you're going to have this massive influx of immigrants into the country that are better equipped. They don't have your legacies. They don't have your disadvantages. They're walking across the border. They're going to get a free lunch. They don't have to pay dues. But you got public policies in this country that are equating them to black folk. They're equating them to black, and what we've allowed them to do, starting in 1970, is to wrap themselves in black folks' suffering and pretend somehow they suffered along with black folk. And therefore, whatever program is created under this misguided label called minority, that they are equal to you and over you. And we're going to deal with that whole concept of minority in a few minutes too.
I know, that's how
What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click that link in the description. Go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. And with that being said, family, I wish we as a people would have listened to Dr. Claude Anderson when he was warning us.
I agree.
I wish that everybody took what he was saying as law,
right,
when he was warning us.
Mm-hmm.
Because now what we have here is a bunch of people in our country, in a land that our ancestors built.
That's right.
Who are sitting here disrespecting us as if they can. Who's not just disrespecting us, but disrespecting our lineage and culture,
yeah,
while trying to cosplay within the culture.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, it's infuriating. It's so tiring.
Right.
It is very tiring.
Mm-hmm.
So, family, today we're going to have to talk about this tether fatigue. And the reason why a lot of people are tether fatigued. Because the truth of the matter is, it's not really that hard to see.
Right.
It's not at all. Our brother Tariq posted a video of a young lady in New York who's basically responding to an FBA young lady who made a video about wanting to hear Black American music in America. Let's get to this video.
Oh Lord, yeah, I remember.
This is to all the transplants. Leave New York City. It's no reason why y'all are complaining about Caribbean music being played when Jamaican, Haitians, and Trini run majority of this city. And the Dominicans. I'm not going to forget the Dominicans. And the Puerto Ricans, too. Get out of here. Because there's no reason why I should be seeing on Twitter people complaining about Caribbean music at a party in New York. I don't know if I'll remember, but this city is literally the Caribbean. Like, get out of here, please. This is to all the transplants.
Okay, family, you heard it. You heard it. We're going to go over it piece by piece.
Yeah.
It's real short. We got to break this down. Got to break it down.
This is to all the transplants. Leave New York City.
Young lady, you should be packing your bags.
Right.
You are the transplant.
Exactly.
Don't you get that?
No.
You are the transplant. Just because your family came here and anchored you into a city that was literally built by foundational Black Americans.
That's right.
Does not mean that you are a native of that land. You and your family, they're the transplants. Let's get that clear.
That's right, Church of Black Power.
It's no reason why y'all are complaining about Caribbean music being played when
Yeah, it is. If we don't want to hear Caribbean music at a party that's supposed to be for foundational Black Americans, really, if we don't want to hear Caribbean music anywhere, we have the right to say so. You know why? Because this is not the Caribbean.
Right.
This is not wherever the hell your family came from.
Right.
It's America. And if we want to hear T-Pain, we want to hear T-Pain. We want to hear Kendrick Lamar. We want to hear Kendrick Lamar. If we want to hear Dr. Dre, even though I don't know who would want to, ask for Dr. Dre to be played. But if we want to hear Dr. Dre, then we want to hear Dr. Dre. Who are you to now try to lambaste anybody because of the fact that you feel like, oh, well, you shouldn't be saying nothing. This is New York. Who gives a damn?
Right.
New York was built off of literally foundational Black Americans.
Right.
Not just that, most of your music genres. So if we don't like something, that means something 9 times out of the 10 ain't really that good.
Right.
Making Haitians and Trini run majority of this city.
What? Just weird.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Somebody took the jaws of life and put them between her 2 front teeth.
Right. Oh my God.
I wonder how long it took for them to separate those teeth like that. Her teeth are segregated. I can't with these people. I can't with these people. She said Jamaicans and Haitians run New York City. How?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you guys are small portions in New York City, Haitians and Jamaicans. Let's be very clear. Now, if you put all of you together, the number of immigrants in New York City is about 1 million, a little over 1 million. That's with all of you together. So when you're speaking about you're running a city, you got small portions, small pockets. Literally, when you look at how many Jamaicans are in New York City, it's somewhere around 300,000. See, this is what they have to do. They sit here and try to group up in order to say they run something. If you run something, that means there's one group of people that's running it. You can't have 2 leaders.
Exactly.
And if that's the case, then why is there so much Black on Black violence in your neighborhoods? Those are y'all neighborhoods, right? I'm just asking a question.
Asking a hard question.
You got me sounding like a white supremacist asking about the violence in y'all neighborhoods. Let's continue.
And the Dominicans. I'm not going to forget the Dominicans and the Puerto Ricans too.
Look at how many groups of people she had to name in order to say they're running something.
Get out of here, because there's no reason why I should be seen on Twitter people complaining about Caribbean music at a party in New York.
There should be no Caribbean music at a party in New York. Let's just put it on the table. If you feel so proudly about this, if you saying this with your whole damn chest, why aren't you in your country celebrating your culture and history and music?
Definitely.
Why are y'all in a whole different country complaining about people in their own damn country? Inquiring minds would like to know.
I don't know if I'll remember, but this city is literally the Caribbean.
Family, why they keep trying to make places that we built and populate the Caribbean? Remember, they tried to say New Orleans is the northern Caribbean, north part of the Caribbean. What is wrong with these people?
Right.
These people have an envy that is so apparent. As a matter of fact, they tell on themselves by doing this. That's what it is. They tell on themselves by doing this. They want to switch places, but they want to keep all the nonsense that they have from their homelands, but switch places with us.
Yeah.
So they want us to leave so that they can be here waving their Caribbean flags and playing their Caribbean music.
Like, get out of here, please.
No, you get out of here, please. And return to your land of origin.
Right.
And that way you can play all the Caribbean music you want. You can wave your flag as much as you want. Because then at least you'll actually be exhibiting a patriotism for your country. You're not doing that in someone else's country.
Right.
That's called living in the psychoses. You believe that you're a patriot by waving your flag in a different country than the country, the flag you're waving. That doesn't make you a patriot. That makes you a coward.
Right.
That makes you a coward. But as I said, family, these people tell on themselves. So I want to go here. This is what it's all really about. Now, before I start this, let me read this comment to you, family. I'm getting tired of y'all being too cocky. Didn't even spell too right. I'm getting tired of y'all being too cocky. And y'all the smallest of the diaspora. You get that, family? That's what they're really mad about. They're really mad that we got as much pride as we do. And we're the smallest out of all of them, they say. Well, the smallest of the diaspora is the face of the diaspora. And y'all hate that, don't you?
Looks like it.
Let other ethnicities shine. Exactly what I just said. Africans just started rising, and y'all hate that.
Oh my God.
Family. Where are they rising?
Right.
I'm just asking for a friend. They're on the rise by cosplaying foundational Black Americans. I'm kind of confused.
My question is, like, since where do we start?
Just show me where.
Where you never start nobody's swag. Like, if you got it, you got it. What the fuck?
There are so many American makeup creators. You need to search for your community. I'm truly sick of y'all. You see, this is how they address us.
Like, keep that energy.
When they wouldn't have any opportunity if it wasn't for us. But this comment says it all. It's really a jealousy. It's really an envy.
Right.
The hatred is driven by their envy for us.
Right. Is it our
Let's play the clip.
It's not our fault.
Wow. Because asking to be seen as a Black American beauty content creator is too much now. I've seen a lot of comments like this in my last video. Essentially, Black Americans need to quiet down and let other ethnicities shine because we've had our turn. Let's talk about it. On my last video, when I said, and I really feel like collectively we should take the space back, I want to be clear that I was not talking about taking anything from anyone. What I meant was take it back to a time where Black American beauty content creators were clearly visible and undeniably a part of the conversation, especially here in the US, where this content space essentially began. Before the brand deals, before the security campaigns, it was Black American women laying down the foundation for what beauty content creation looks like today. So to say we're the smallest, or to say we should try harder to find one another is not only unhelpful, it's dismissive, and the point is we should not have to try so hard to find each other. Also, I'm not saying others do not deserve to shine. All I'm saying is that we deserve to shine too. Asking for visibility in our own culture, in our own country, shouldn't be so controversial. This isn't about ego. This is about equity. And I'm going to keep speaking up about it. But I'm curious, what does inclusivity mean to you?
And that's why we're getting rid of this whole inclusivity bull stuff. It's not about equity. It's about ownership. This belongs to us, all of it. If y'all want to shine so bad, turn up your light. Turn up the wattage.
Right. Do better, man.
We shine naturally because everything we do has that Majora essence to it.
That's right. That's right.
We are the leader of the culture. That was bestowed upon us due to the fact that we were the only people fighting for the culture. When we try to connect with folks,
visibility,
they pushed us away. They shunned us.
Man,
they shunned us. When my brother, my sister, I'm not your brother, I'm not your sister. Black man, oh, I'm not Black, I'm African. I'm not Black, I'm Caribbean. I'm not Black, I'm Jamaican. I'm not Black, me no cible.
Right.
All of that while we was trying to have inclusivity.
Right.
So we're now at a point where inclusivity is not a thing for us anymore.
Correct.
And that's because of y'all.
You're welcome.
It's because of the tether fatigue that we have. We no longer are interested in inclusivity. We're not interested in equity in something that we built.
Yeah, my seat.
This is about our ownership.
Your show.
So to all you tethers out there who think you have the right to say anything to an FBA, I suggest you sit the hell down and shut your damn mouth.
No. Yep.
And appreciate that you're even in the culture if you're in the culture.
If. That's a big if.
Now, if you do your own thing, do your own thing. But don't do your own thing while cosplaying as us.
Correct.
Because then you're not doing your own thing.
Can you tell him where you got to go sleep?
No.
And if you want
Lady Chate's gonna take over, y'all.
to have exclusive shine,
oh shit down.
take your ass back to your country and shine there.
No.
Oh, that's right.
I got fun shit to talk about.
This is the RBA.
Because your countries are dim as hell. and so is your souls.
Guard your shit, because I'm going to shut it down.
But with that being said, family,
we're going to have some fun.
Don't let these tethers eat your energy. I know it's easy. I know they're irritating. But protect your peace.
All right, Coleman. Southside.
With that being said, family, the doors of the church are closed.
Oh, thank you, church.
Peace, family.
My grandfather
man
built this country, man.
Power, man. Super intelligent brother right there. And he ain't never told no lies. I would say this. I like with that last broad, man. When do we stop a motherfucker from trying to shine bright or do anything or excel or anything like that? Like the biggest motherfucking supporters of fucking rock your shit.
Mm-hmm.
You mean? So is it our fault? It ain't our fault that we're tight. It ain't our fault that we got motherfucking swag style and fucking juice just exuding. It's not our fault that we keep fucking creating shit and doing shit and moving shit and being tight. How's that our fault? They, like he said, turn up the motherfucking wattage.
Mm-hmm.
Turn up your motherfucking vibration. You got it, you got it. Say, man, bitch, calm down. If you was really tight, you wouldn't be worried about it. You wouldn't be worried about it. Now cosmetic motherfucker or whatever doing something or whatever. You wouldn't be worried about it. You'd be popping your shit. You wouldn't need no motherfucking approval or fucking viewership. You wouldn't need any of that if you knew you were tight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but if you're a shabby motherfuckers and you worried, like what you worried about?
Right.
There's plenty of room for everybody to eat out there. You know what I mean? When it comes to all that. You know what I mean? There's plenty of room. There's plenty of fucking room. For a motherfucker to eat if they value their shit. There's plenty of fucking room. I just feel like it is not our fault. It is not our fault. We have to deal with jealousy, all that. They say if you don't have any haters or nobody's jealous of you or envious, you ain't doing nothing right. You ain't doing nothing right. So if you got that, then you know shit. Like, I have a prime example, right? Let me tell you a little story. The dog, right? I don't post often. I don't like to be online. I like to move around quietly. Right? Because, Mr. Showboat over here has to be everywhere online, fucking all fucking day long. It's just dramatic to me, right? So, but that doesn't mean that I'm not tighter or greater, or I got more swag or more style. I just do things so much motherfucking more different. Right? I move differently. If I wanted to, I would have more viewers. If I wanted to, I'd have a different or bigger platform. If I want to, but some things just ain't meant for everybody. You know what I mean? Some things are just not meant for everybody. Like some people could just I don't have to worry about it. I can go in a room and motherfuckers can feel it. You see what I'm saying? They can feel what type of energy I'm on. They can feel what type of energy I exude. They can feel my greatness, or they can feel my motherfucking despair, or they can feel my fucking pain, or they can feel my motherfucking anger. It really doesn't matter. It's kind of like whatever that is. You know what I mean? But they can feel it when I go. Why? Because I know how great I am. I know what I am. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I know what I do. I know how talented I am. You know what I mean? And what kind of motherfucking potentials and greatness I can fucking really have. Why? Because I've seen it, had it, touched it, felt it, lost it, had it, lost it, touched it. You did? So I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, like with the last motherfucker, build your motherfucking confidence up. Maybe it's your confidence, cuz. Your confidence is a little low. Like, majorly, if you got to be worried about other motherfuckers and you got to be worried about find your people. Bitch, like, you shouldn't have to worry about finding anybody. They'll find you. You know what I mean? If they want what you got. If you got the power of motherfucking manifestation on your side, the motherfucking orishas are spilling you. The energy is fucking high. The vibration is motherfucking high. It'll come to you. It's like fucking magic. You know what I mean? But if you just, low vibrational and why don't you just let no, fuck all that, cuz. Fuck all that. We ain't never stopped nobody from fucking popping this shit. We never stopped nobody from popping this shit. What we should stop is motherfucking disrespectful arrogance, vitriol, and motherfuckers not showing respect to the fucking the fucking founders of the fucking United States, of every fucking thing here. Every fucking thing here. Foundational Black Americans fucking created it, invented it, made it tight. You know what I mean? Put a little style to it. Then all my 45 motherfucking years of life. Okay? So, then that's before me, that'll be after me, it'll be whatever. I feel like this. We ain't never stopped nobody, but we sure as fucking gonna let nobody tell us where we can listen to, what we can't listen to. If we don't want to listen to this, we don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Especially like places like that. Like people also got it really twisted in New York, like that.
Yeah, Leonard's cracking up.
You know what I mean? I said, why is Leonard laughing? Why are you laughing at me, Leonard? I'm serious about what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Like I don't really have to do too much when I go outside. I tell Jesse to put me on camera, like that, because I'm maneuvering through the neighborhood quietly, because it's gritty. Like I can be real gritty and edgy lately, so I'm just kind of maneuvering quietly. I don't want nobody to see me. That's just what it is. But then there's other times where I'm like, yeah, shit, I am what I am. I don't care what I'm wearing. I don't care how my hair looks. I don't care if I got first of all, I haven't worn makeup in I don't know how many months now. You hear me? I don't give a fuck about none of that. Why? Because I have style, I have swag, and I just am. I am. You ain't nobody gonna tell me I'm not. You did? So I am. If you ain't, that's on you. Step your motherfucking game up. Step your motherfucking energy up. I don't know what you gotta do, man. Maybe take off your shoes and touch the motherfucking ground, let your motherfucking antennas fucking raise, but do something about that. That ain't my fucking problem. You dig? Ever since I can remember, because I can go anywhere. I can go anywhere and everybody will feel it. You mean? Anywhere, anybody will feel it. They'll feel it like I'm super jazzed. I'm happy. The whole room happy. You mean? If I'm upset, the whole fucking place is upset. The whole mood will change. You mean? If I'm on my shit, I'm on my shit. Anybody gonna tell me no? Can't nobody whoop me, but I'm always up for it. Asking you shall receive. I do hand out blessings. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers might need one. Shit. It's up. You can have it. Just don't make me work for it. Just ask me for that ass whooping. I give it out. You dig? But aside from that, no. No. I got the fucking energy to manifest my own motherfucking destiny. That means if I want to fail, I'm a fail. If I want to succeed, I'll succeed. Like if I wanted a bigger thing, I would have a bigger thing. If I wanted to do more, I would do more. But the thing is, like when we dealing with the new black media, currently, everybody, especially right here with the Front Line Blacc News, touched every motherfucking topic like 18 fucking times. Put their stank on it, and I can't get funky with it. You know what I mean? So I have a little perspective, And he gave me the fucking hand, he gave me the mic, like he gave it to me. So if you missed it, the last three shows, I mean, just all over it, you know what I mean? Not my fault. I'm not gonna apologize for it. I am. It is. You wouldn't have passed it to me if I wasn't great. You did? So, next topic, cause wait, I can't do it because you won't get out my seat.
The next topic is
Jesse fell asleep in the chair.
No, I haven't fell asleep yet.
He fell asleep.
I'm getting there.
He took his hair off. He took his stuff off his head. Hair all out. And he got the echo on with the motherfucking what is that? With the headphones.
Yeah, so the next topic is ICE will go anywhere. Illegal immigrants are located to meet 3,000.
Oh yeah, man. The quota went up. They don't give a fuck if you in school. They'll care if you at court. They'll care if you was at work.
Well, ICE has a new goal to deport 3,000 people a day. Ladies and gentlemen, 3,000 people a day.
They weren't.
And Tom Homan is back out there to, talk about where are they going and why you see them showing up all over the place. Go ahead and check this out.
There's been a lot of ICE activity yesterday in Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. Does that mean you confirm that? Or is that being done for any political reason?
No. Martha's Vineyard isn't off the table. It's part of the country. We're doing immigration actions all throughout the country. We're not saying we're going to favor one area over another. We're all over the country, in every neighborhood, in every city. And you're going to see an expansion of that. Like I just said, we're going to increase the teams greatly. So you're going to see more teams on the streets you've never seen before. You're going to see more worksite enforcement than you've ever seen in the history of this nation. You got sanctuary cities, how I said, we're going to flood the zone. If we can't arrest a bad guy in the jail, one agent arrests a bad guy in the jail in the safety and security of the jail, which is safer for the officer, safer for the alien, and safer for the community, okay, you're going to force him in the community to find him. If we can't find him in the community, we're going to find him on the work site. So we're going to flood the zone, and sanctuary cities will get exactly what they don't want. More agents in the neighborhoods, more worksite enforcement, because we're going to get the bad guy. If you want to make it difficult for us, we'll do it. It'll take more time, it's less efficient, but we're not going to stop until we find that guy.
So as you've seen over the weekend, you had ICE out here all over the place. ICE is right here in Houston. And ICE, they get assistance from the Texas, the DPS here in Texas. They get an assistance from the county. They get an assistance from the local PD. And the majority of the cities here in Texas, because it's a red state, and they have no problem partnering with federal agents to get anybody. So Texas is not the place you want to be right now. I would tell you that much. But they're stepping up their enforcement. 3,000, right? 3,000 people a day they want to arrest. That's a lot of people. Now, we know the Biden administration have flooded the zone with a lot of illegal immigrants. And as we talked about on the last live stream, they set them up. They set them up like that. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. What did y'all expect? Y'all knew Trump when he came into office. You knew good and well what he was going to do. I don't know why anybody, the moment you saw Trump win, why would you even stay? I'm like, you know what, bro? Let me go on and move around till he get out of office. Because I come back when he out. That sort of thing. But then some people been here for years, and people ask, well, why didn't you get your citizenship? Why didn't you try? Well, let me say this with balance. Some people have tried. Some have. Let's go there. Some have tried. But the reason the system is so screwed up that it costs a lot of money. Like if you got money, yeah, you can get a citizenship. You can get that like if you got money right now. Trump talking about the golden visa. You got $5 million. Yeah, go ahead and get your golden visa. But most of these people that come here don't have a golden visa. Now a lot of people say, well, shoot, this is what I voted for. Some people in the chat say this is what I voted for. I voted for mass deportation. That's what I voted for. And you getting what you voted for. But there's also some things going on with the Trump administration that a lot of you didn't vote for. Because, yes, a lot of people voted economy, mass deportation, grocery bill, thing like that, right? But some of the extra stuff that's going on with Trump, like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? So that just kind of like, same thing with Biden. Some people voted for Biden because they thought that he was going to do police reform and things like that. Then Biden started doing this other stuff like the immigration. And they were saying like, Biden, what are you doing? We didn't vote for you to do all this crap you're doing. So that's the unfortunate part about our politicians here in America. You can vote for them for one thing, no matter if it's Democrat or Republican. You can vote for one thing, but then you get something else that's not even what you voted for, right? So that's just the thing there. Now, when Biden had mass, immigration, I mean, it just was not sustainable because we have a homeless population in America that don't have a place to stay, and yet they're getting all these people at job sites. A lot of liberal cities say, hey, you got immigrants in jail, let me go ahead and pick them up. Nah, you can't do that. So that's why they say, okay, we're going to go rate them at the job then. We know where they at. We're going to rate them. And we're going to cause a ruckus, and y'all going to get mad. It's going to be disruptive. Business owners are going to lose their employees. And I'm not saying these people may be not bad people or something. I'm not saying they could be good people. But the fact is, every country in the world has immigration laws. Every country in the world. And because every country in the world have immigration laws, it has to be followed. I can't go to no country. All the countries I've been to, they've all asked me, let me see your passport. If it's a country required a visa, let me see your visa information. I just come back from Ethiopia in April. I had to purchase a visa to go. They wouldn't have let me in the country without a visa. So if that's an African country. I couldn't just go past immigration into the country. I had to go through there. America has this law too. Mm-hmm. People are like, oh, that's too bad. Well, in other countries, they probably would treat you a lot worse. But people not used to seeing America like that now. There are people saying they may not want to come in for tourism. I can get that because they're acting a little funny style at the airport. There are people that are saying that, the World Cup, one of the nations that's supposed to host the World Cup next year, which the World Cup is bigger than the Super Bowl, if you actually know about the World Cup. And the United States is supposed to be one of the countries. They said Mexico, Canada, United States. Well, a lot of people saying, I don't want to play in the United States. I'd rather play in Mexico and Canada. And the World Cup brings a lot of people and a lot of money. And Trump bragging about it. Trump, first of all, you're going to have to chill out at the airport, bro. You're doing too much at the airport. You're doing way too much. That's why people don't want to come here. Then you even mess with the white folks from different places, which they shocked they're getting messed with. So, yeah, you're going to mess off tourism. I think this summer is going to be a low tourism this summer from foreign countries. And then Trump will have to back off in the airport because that's tourism makes this country a lot of money. And that's what you want. You definitely need your money, ladies and gentlemen. But what Trump got going on and some things, like I say, people didn't vote for. But same thing with Biden. So a lot of black men, I keep saying, look at all this stuff that's going on and go get those jobs. Go get them. Go get them completely. Because hey, a lot of times black men were doing these jobs and they kicked black men out and hired all the immigrants. So now I'd say black men, go reclaim your job. Tom Homan and Trump is opening up the lane for you. This is your time to shine.
He ain't lying.
To me, how did we get to that point? And how do we even discuss what's taking place in Gaza and Israel? Like, my niece is here. You'll see her on Sunday and all of those different things. But it's very personal on both sides and all sides, to where the conversation can't be had, particularly when you're talking about genocide. How do we even have the conversation without being labeled as a bigot, a hater, an anti-Semite, or it's a murderer? All of the name calling, when we just want to make sure mothers, children, and communities have a right to life.
Yeah. I mean, I think in defense of humanity, you have to be comfortable with being labeled whatever. Nelson Mandela was called a terrorist.
Okay.
MLK was considered a terrorist. And I think for me, what I notice is that when you cannot defend a genocide, what you do is you start to attack the people who are speaking about the genocide. there is nothing triggering. There is nothing offensive. There is nothing, there's nothing wrong in me saying this war needs to stop. And so if you are in defense of massacring children, people who are disabled, mothers, fathers, the elderly.
A round of applause. Here she is. She's in the free.
It was an RSVP type scenario. We didn't even know about it till like whenever when you got the email, it was already like, we're at full capacity. I think it was like whatever. So he's just right down the road. This motherfucker, that is where Jesse's like thoroughly. I think we're both banned from the free thing zone.
Free cool zone.
You can go up in that bitch and he will not look at us. He will not acknowledge us unless we are, like whatever. He might be like, oh hey, but he can't be on camera.
Chrome dome, the black chrome dome.
And so he's like a Democratic shill. Definitely Democratic shill. Definitely an enemy to black people in our city. Definitely for himself. And I think I got we have a contentious relationship online, and Jesse and I have a problem just mobbing up in there and making a scene sometimes. And I sometimes get to go in there. But he won't look at it. He won't look at us he won't look at me at all directly. And I don't know, he's kind of tolerant Jesse sometimes. Jesse don't mind kicking shit around and acting a fool over there and being super loud like always. So, this was an RSVP type thing. We didn't even know this broad was coming. I don't even know why this broad is here. Why she even came. Because this isn't like her state or anything. So this is like I don't know what day this was.
Saturday.
He said Saturday. I think it was Sunday. Because we were supposed to go to a thing. It's right there, dated. Scroll down. Just look at the date.
That's when he uploaded it. That's not the same thing.
Oh my god. Anywho, I said day. I was like, maybe we should just go. You know what I mean? Anywho, so she was here. She was here, and they talked a little bit. And then then the thing in Boulder happened. I would say if he's saying it's Saturday, I say it was they happened on Sunday. I don't fucking know, but I know that it happened, and they had a little thing about it in the newspaper, and I had to tell an old boy. That he's responsible for this little fundraising shindig or whatever. But we're gonna go ahead and play some of this for you. And I also have a question, like, how the fuck does a refugee get to be a congressperson?
Because she's technically a citizen. I don't know.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it don't make like that part. I never really got to understand. Like, I thought you just had to be like thoroughly a fucking full-grown motherfucking United States citizen. How the fuck does a refugee get to be in Congress? But she talks about that, so a little bit about that. So, and she talk about money and whatnot. So, we're gonna play a little bit about this, and you can see how this motherfucking it's the same motherfucker that disrespected Vicky Dillard when she came. He's the same individual that has. Yes, yes, exactly. When RFK, RFK Jr. came, he's the same one that disrespected Vicky Dillard and had all that shit going on behind her while she was giving him that work and asking those really hard questions. That sister alone got a bigger platform and following, and she was doing the Lord's work that day.
Yeah.
For FBA and asking the questions that we all demanded to know, and while she had a chance to speak to a motherfucker running for her office or whatnot. And so it's the same motherfucker. It's the same motherfucker that, you know, silenced me for fucking say buck broken. Shit like that inside the free thing zone. Oh, and then when I was running for office the first time, he more than me like nine. I told you I even came like a lady. I even tried to do things the right way. You know, like to make a proper appointment. Which knowing me personally, knowing that I'm kind of like nah, man. Like if I'm right there, like we let's handle up right here. Let's set something. You know what I mean? I try to be a lady, but you know he can't be a lady amongst peons and trash. You know what I mean? It's the same motherfucker that had that broad Medea, fucking median, whatever the fuck her name is, that's over there, basically doing political theater now. When she used to be the sidekick, he used to have to fucking buy meals for that broad to sit next to him and fucking give commentary. And sit now, she acted like she is the epitome of motherfucking black excellence. I think not, because you wouldn't be looking shabby like that every time you go to see Tether. That's a motherfucking clout chasing, ambulance chasing motherfucking tether. And non-rhythmic tether. Yeah. Like non-rhythmic tether, man, don't let me get me started on this motherfucking straight hair either. For being fucking melanated. Like I don't even talk about it because my motherfucking hair too long and glorious to go out for that. Like but the man, like how the fuck non-rhythmic ass. This is the same type of broad that wear pajamas outside, you know what I mean? Same broad that got mad when I told her, man, don't let that white lady tokenize you, go get your fucking bread. You know what I mean? But she like getting tokenized and like motherfucking showboating for the fucking for the whites. You know what I mean? Whether it be a motherfucking colonizing female or a motherfucking colonizing male, it don't fucking matter. Same one of the hold hands and let a motherfucking white person go sit on the couch and give them that talk. You know what I mean? Go dance at they motherfucking a little what was that campaign parties and shit like that. Same motherfucker that act like she doing political activism now. Like since when? You know what I mean? Or city council shut down. The same one that doing political fucking theater and like drug a whole fucking family through it for like a whole year. Her and motherfucking fat ass old Ayante. You know what I mean? Which personally is like he definitely won't fucking look me in the motherfucking face. And when I see him, I treat him like they like my bitch. You know what I mean? Like I snap my fingers at that broad. Like, come hither, bitch. Like for real. Yeah. Are you seen it? Yeah. Everybody's seen it. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm lying. No, it's true. I'm not lying. Come when I call you, bitch. Take this. Do that. Don't look at me, ho. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like real shit. You won't disrespect my fucking dude. Well, bitch, I disrespect hoes. You know what I mean? I don't got no problem with fucking telling a bitch what he really is. If I snap my fingers at you, dog, bow down. See what I'm saying? So that's how I feel. And I'm not ever going to take it back because, you know, when the broad is right there in my fucking public face because she don't act on her feelings. It says she'll take it out on everybody always want to try to take it out on Jesse. You know what I mean? But that don't go down easy either. Yeah, so we're going to let this little thing play. But I don't like that broad. And I personally feel like, you know, any chance I get to sink a motherfucking battleship of a motherfucking off-brand, I'm going to do so. Especially when they wrong and they dragging families that don't need to be drugged through shit. Bullshit, you know what I mean? Like especially like in certain areas that are typically sundown, typically where the police are in the wrong or whatever, you dragging a fucking family through it, you know, clearly, and you're making them go through the motions and it's fucking embarrassing. It's political fucking theater, and because of your motherfucking shenanigans, you and that motherfucking fat ass motherfucking ART, you know, city council changes their rules in Aurora, making it difficult for motherfuckers to have real life concerns. You know what I mean? For actual public people to have real life concerns. There are people in Aurora that still have ever yet to vote due to redlining. They keep changing the motherfucking maps and they keep doing this and that. You know what I mean? And or they have any real chances of airing out real life grievances because you got a motherfucker holding the council hostage for like almost a year. You know what I mean? And you know, I'm not gonna say that they played on their, you know, the melanin, you know, and not being arrested, but come on now, cuz enough's enough. Like, it's political theater, but it's political theater on the plight of a grieving family. You know, you dig?
Yeah.
It's on the plight of that. It's on the plight of that. So that's another. It's like how they capitalize. It don't matter if she's black. That's she capitalizing on our fucking pain, shames, death. So she just like them. You know what I mean? Just like them. It don't matter. She's just like another motherfucking cracker capitalizing on the fucking deaths, ills, and shames. You know what I mean? And not being a motherfucking help or, you know, fucking anything. You're not the epitome of black excellence. I don't give a fuck. Don't let the shade deflect the motherfucking message. I know what motherfucking black excellence looks like. I'm saying it. You know what I mean? I know what black excellence looks like. I know how black excellence moves. I know how they act, they behave. I know how they are. I know what black excellence looks like. And that, my children, is not black excellence. And neither is this coon. So we're going to go ahead and play. And Shabaka would love to get his hands on this shit.
Everything zone. Representative. Well, let me say U.S. Representative Ilhan Omar. Welcome to Colorado. Welcome to the Free Think Zone.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
You know, we are super excited for you to be here. And as they say, for such a time as this. You came into Congress and I think there was COVID, January 6th, impeachment. You jumped right in, both feet. How did you adapt? How did you adjust?
I don't really know the answer to that question. You know, we also came into the longest government shutdown in the history of U.S. And so it was a really challenging time, but I think, you know, oftentimes we are picked by destiny to be where we are. And I think for those of us who were elected in 2019, we're destined for those challenging times.
You know, Representative Omar, I'd like for you to take a moment to introduce yourself as you would introduce yourself in 2025. Who are you? What should folks know about you?
Well, I have the honor of representing Minnesota's 5th Congressional District. I am a refugee. I came to this country at the age of 12 from Africa, specifically Somalia in East Africa. I'm the youngest of 7. I was raised by my father and grandfather. Unfortunately, did not get to be raised by my mother as she passed when I was young. I am a mother to 4 incredible children. My eldest is 22 and just graduated college, and my youngest is soon to be a teenager. She's turning 13 and reminds me every day. I, in Congress, serve on the Education and Workforce Committee. I'm the ranking member, meaning the lead Democrat on the Workforce Protection Subcommittee. I'm also on the Budget Committee.
You know, I want to jump right into Africa to start this conversation.
Okay.
Because Africa is largely not discussed. Everything else but. And so being a refugee from Africa and then coming, during the time of, most consider Somalia around Black Hawk Down, in Hollywood, in these portrayals. But you came up during a civil war. So you know about trauma and being fearful for your life. How has that experience shaped you? And I know this is a long question. And under the current administration, would a Representative Omar be possible?
You look at me like that, 'cause you just know I'm about to do some crazy shit.
So I went through a civil war at the age of 8. So I think, most of the people hear war, and what most don't recognize is that it is sudden, right? So one day I'm in my nice school uniform in my comfortable life. My family was fortunate enough to be middle class, upper middle class. We were growing up in a generational house, so I was raised with my uncles and aunts, my mother's siblings, and so they were adults. So we had multiple income household, so we were pretty comfortable. And the next day, everything was shut down. And the kids I was playing with yesterday now were carrying rifles, and people were turning on each other, and all of a sudden your life was not the one you knew, and the comforts of having food and shelter, all of those things automatically disappear because markets shut down. You only have access to the food that was in the house the day before, and you have to go through that for months until people adjust, because as human beings we are resilient, right? We ultimately adjust. And so then we had to flee to neighboring country Kenya, where we became stateless. We became refugees and had to live in a refugee camp. It was a newly established refugee camp, which meant for the first month or so, we just had basic tents, no running water, nothing, established to accommodate daily life. And I think that informs my my worldview in that, privilege is something that can be lost. Desperation is something human beings do feel. Dignity is essential for existence, and no human being, I think, should experience the kind of hunger that people who have to flee for their life experience. And I think about I think a lot about war and those who perpetrate and sponsor war, because oftentimes they are ones who are never going to experience it.
And so you find that, and that informs you in your policy, in your worldview.
Yes.
And the way you were able to come to the United States of America and become a citizen, etc. Could that happen under this current administration? Because it seems like the road that you traveled is a road that is constantly being shut down, particularly for Africans.
Yeah, I mean, so one, the refugee camp that I was in was established and sponsored by UNHCR, which right now the United States has stopped contributing to. And so that means there's less resources for folks. For me, it means, I coming through the refugee resettlement program to come to the United States. That program right now is essentially dismantled. Our current president issued an executive order saying no refugee should come to the United States unless they are white and from South Africa. And there was a court case that said you can't dismantle the program. And the administration is saying they need at least 9 months to reestablish the program. So at the moment, there are no refugees around the world that are getting the opportunity, that golden ticket to start a new life for themselves. So yes, there would be no Ilhan if today was the day that my family was seeking that sponsorship. And I do believe that, you know, the level of harm that the current policies are causing are going to be generational. There are more people displaced today than ever in the history of the world.
There's this conversation, and I'm wondering if the word genocide has been reframed. Because, of course, I have been covering the genocide in Tigray extensively since 2000. And, of course, following that became the situation in Ukraine and then the continuation of what's happening in Gaza. But all of these tragedies that are taking place in Africa seem to not warrant the attention and the label of genocide. And there's been a lot of activism, particularly, and I want to focus on Tigray for just a moment, because they were lobbying all the way up to Congress and getting their voice heard around the world. Did that ever come to your attention in terms of that particular genocide? And then what are your thoughts about those parts of Africa that are suffering extreme loss via genocide?
I mean, I'm East African, so I'm acutely aware of everything that is taking place in Ethiopia, and I've been aware as a child. My birth country went to war with Ethiopia, and so actually, when I got elected, the first trip I took as a member of Congress was to Ethiopia and Eritrea. Interestingly enough, Eritrea does not have diplomatic relationship with the United States, but Joe Neguse, who represents this area, and I got elected, and the then chairwoman of the Africa Subcommittee, Karen Bass, had been trying to get to Eritrea and to go to Ethiopia.
As I talk about Joe Neguse, man, I swear to God, me and Jesse be like, we are going to invest in motherfucking, like, endless amounts of motherfucking shea butter, cocoa butter. I mean, like the real shit. Like the real shit. Like, you know, like, I mean, it's so motherfucking thick. You really have to use both hands to rub that shit in. Like, that motherfucker never comb his hair. He ashier than a motherfucker. He's always ashy. And, like, you got that, like, that motherfucking Ethiopian red bone kind of shit going on. Like, there's no reason. Like, that's some pretty ass motherfucking color that you won't put no lotion on, cuz like you won't comb your motherfucking and let the shade deflect the motherfucking message. I just say, like right now, I'm in my motherfucking, like, I'm in my motherfucking peanut butter. I haven't even been outside that much. I think I'm getting more of coming into my motherfucking summer peanut butter red lit from being inside it and going outside at night. The moon's doing it. What the fuck? You know what I mean? I swear to God, like comb his motherfucking hair. Like, we would invest in a nice brush. You know, you got that motherfucking George Jefferson motherfucking hairline going on. Like, we're gonna invest in some motherfucking chapstick. You know what I mean? So his lips can, look like lips. and the thickest motherfucking shea butter, cocoa butter, olive oil. I mean, I don't give a fuck what it is. I mean, I'm talking about like thick, okay? Like the shit I like, man, there's like there's no reason to be with that motherfucking skin tone. There is no motherfucking reason you should ever be ashy or your hair motherfucking not combed or cut. Like, do better. And you represent Denver. You represent Colorado. Like, they be wearing these weird ass little suits and shit. They like one time we seen him like he was wearing like a pastel blue, like pale blue, like no crease, high water dress shirt. I'm like, man, come on, cuz, like, who let you out the house? Like Like me and Jesse vowed that we were gonna like go find like with some really good shit. You know, it's gonna last him like a quick minute, but he has to use it every day. Like that's the thing. You like don't get liberal with it. Like don't be afraid of it. Like it's just a little bit of some thick ass butter. Like don't be afraid of it. Rub it in. Like dude, I've been leaving the crib. Like sometimes I've been leaving the crib and I have like I have some some quality like lotions, oils, or whatever. And it's really like I don't know. I would say it's kind of thick for me, I guess. Right? It'll be on my arms and my face and stuff. Like it'll still be on when I'm leaving, right? Because my skin, like it's Colorado, it's dry here. You know what I mean? I stay with a motherfucking some sort of lubricant for my skin. You know what I mean? There's like for real, like really. And like I'm sad to say that. I was like, you have to. Like I feel like some chapstick. I mean at minimal, car mix is good. Like there's no reason you should have cracked chapped lips. You should not be ashy around your fucking stop be ashy on your face. Like, there's just no reason for it. There's no excuse. It's like there's no motherfucking excuse. Like you just can't. You just can't have ashy fingers and shit. You don't even want to know.
And they were denying her visa for entry, and they were like, "Oh, well, if you're bringing our children with you, you can come." And so it was a real honor to have the opportunity to travel. And I've been raising the alarm ever since, before I came to Congress, and after continue to raise the alarm about the genocide that the Tigray have been experiencing, the plight of the Oromo people in Ethiopia, the plight of in the Ogaden region, and now as we look at what's happening in Sudan, holding countries like the United Arab Emirates accountable for arming the groups there that are fighting, raising the alarm in what's happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo, talking about Libya and the current slave trade that's taking place there and what they are doing to other Africans. My work as the first African in Congress has been to raise the alarm about different issues that are taking place, but also the opportunities that exist. Africa is not just a place that is struggling. There are many countries that are creating incredible opportunities, have incredible growth. Think about Namibia, Angola, Zambia, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana. There are extreme success stories to tell about the continent, about its youth, about their hope and the promise that they have. When I got kicked off the Foreign Affairs Committee for
you got kicked off.
I got kicked off the Foreign Affairs Committee because in Congress we can't talk about the apartheid that exists in talk about genocide the Israelis are committing right now in Gaza, and so if you raise those issues, you are not allowed to be on the Foreign Affairs Committee, and so it is. I take that as a badge of honor, being kicked off for speaking truth about what is happening to people who have been stripped of their right to humanity since 1948. And so I started the Africa Working Group to continue my work in highlighting issues and opportunities on Africa.
When we think about Africa and the youth, there seems to be a push, particularly coming out of Burkina Faso, to where there's a level of self-determination and saying, well, we've been exploited for our resources, we've been exploited for our talent, and so now we are going to use those resources to build our own countries and our own alliances. What are your thoughts on this movement towards self-determination and turning away from, current and former colonizers.
Yeah. I mean, I remember my first trip to Burkina Faso and Niger and being just incredibly shocked. It was really a jarring trip for me because they are two countries that have rich history. They're countries with people that have incredible pride. They're countries where they have enormous resources, but have not been allowed.
Like, I don't understand, man. You in Congress, like, ain't no room for no fucking scared ass shit. Not this day and age. She's like, I got kicked off. Like, we can't be saying, are you fucking serious? No excuse. That's like no excuse. You know what I mean? There's no excuse for it. Nowadays, they let old fucking stupid ass Crockett say whatever the fuck she want to say. Why can't you? Doing a disservice, I say.
To have any sort of development. 60%, 80% of their youth didn't have access to education, which, again, if you know about their history, if you know about their contributions to humanity, it is jarring. And so I think, you know, what is happening in Mali, in Burkina Faso, in Niger, I think for those of us who live in the United States and advocate for a democracy, you know, to have a military run country is not ideal. But what is ideal is for people rising up and standing up to their colonizers, who still continue to colonize the resources. They might have freed the people, but they haven't freed them to seek their own destiny. And I think that there is pride with both Africans inland and African diaspora to see these countries now saying to the French, you know, you no longer will monopolize our resources. We will figure out what to do with it, and we want to run our factories. We want to run our mining. We want to be able to have the opportunity not only to produce, but to develop the resources and use it. Like, the one thing I think most people don't know about Africa is that when in the late 50s and in the 60s, when there was a movement, right, for liberation, a lot of the colonizers realized that they were losing their grip in controlling the continent. So what they came up with is to control the resources. So they've created through international law ways in which they will say, okay, you can harvest, but you cannot manufacture. Right? And so you have countries that are rich in oil. They're not allowed to have refineries. They have to send the oil and then buy it back. And so you're essentially spending more money to buy something that you have in your own country, because you are not allowed to refine it for usage, and that is criminal.
Wow,
that is criminal.
And policy and foreign policy,
yes,
for Western powers,
yes, where they have international avenues to extract money from those countries if they choose to develop those refineries, if they choose to develop peanut manufacturing sites like that, if they choose to mine their own gold and develop that gold for usage.
You know, with that being said, Representative Ilhan Omar is black African, woman, Muslim. Assalamu alaikum. In the halls of power, And just listening to you and with the energy that you are putting out, I can see how it makes those uncomfortable because you're not supposed to be there. You're not supposed to be saying these things. And there was a question about how do individuals who are younger, who have a view such as yours, how did you get elected? How do you get to these positions of power? And what advice would you give to someone who may be attempting to unseat a very powerful person in Congress with a new vision? What to do, what should the young people do?
Well, I think it is. I will say this. There are people who wake up and say, I want to carve a path to Congress. And then there are those of us who are not interested, but eventually end up there. I was politically involved since I was 14, getting people to vote, making our Democratic Party work on behalf of the people, electing people who represented us and were a reflection of the communities that they wanted to represent. I was pressured into running for the state house because I really did not like the idea of being represented by someone who was there for 44 years and worked really hard to run other candidates to unseat her. And then my friends were like, you're too invested, you need to do it yourself. And got really lucky when Keith Ellison decided to run for Attorney General, giving us less than 10 weeks for a primary fight.
Less than 10 weeks? Less
than 10 weeks.
Wow.
We had a 30-hour notice before the closing deadline to file for candidacy. It was such a small window that I didn't have the opportunity to even tell my kids that I was running for Congress. My daughter found out in her 8th grade math class that her mom just announced or filed to run for Congress. My dad had a doctor's visit and they were like, your daughter's on TV, right? That's your daughter? And so I didn't even have time to consult with my family because it was such a small window. But what I did have was a strong, dedicated friends and network that believed in my ability to win and represent them well. And so they, as soon as I got off that phone call, which was, Keith called, told 8 of us to get on a call, and he didn't give any one of us a heads up, so it was a group of us that he thought might be interested in running for Congress. And he was like, I'm filing for the Attorney General tomorrow, 5 p.m. This was 2 p.m. on Thursday. Friday was the last day. And he was like, this is what I'm doing. If any of you are interested, you can meet me there and file to run for Congress. And so my friends, as soon as they heard this, put a group together. And I just thought we were going to have a conversation, but they were ready. People were like, here's a check. I'm going to sign up to be the campaign manager. I'm going to sign up to be the field director. So it was a group of people that were really interested, and I didn't really have much time to think about that. And I say all of that to say, it is important to be rooted in your community. It is important to build these lasting relationships with folks. It is important to show up for others so that they can show up for you. And I think a lot of people who run for office and fail oftentimes fail because they are showing up for themselves and they have never showed up for people. And I think that is the biggest advice that I would give to young people. Be involved in your community, be involved in what is happening around you, because the day might come when you you are called to be that leader that goes to represent them.
What happens in terms of financially? Because even at our local school board level, folks are raising $250,000 to run for volunteer positions, which to me shows the privatization of public institutions and the networks that are attached to them. And that's at the school board level. At the congressional level, in these super PACs and these money tentacles, it's almost like you've got to have $1 billion.
The other day, we was over there wreaking havoc at the Zion Senior Center, and I was giving the oversight board, oversight committee, and Sheriff Diggins the business, man. I was giving them that work, and after that, like they was like all up on me, trying to give me the card, trying to tell me to apply, whoop-de wham, call this, talk to this person, whoop-de whoop, right? And I already sit on the public safety task force, you know what I mean? Because separate from the mayor's thieving ass fucking task force, separate, you know, do the work of the actual community. And been there. So, you know, I was giving them motherfuckers some work. And so much that I think that even made it worse for me, especially with talking at the sheriff, you know what I mean? Because there's no accountability, right? And there's no accountability for these motherfucking oversight boards or whatever. So all that shit is easy. But I'm thinking like this, like, why I haven't filed my, like, I literally could go ahead and file my paperwork to run for city council in the city I live in Aurora. What I don't want to do, and this is what I think is the biggest problem, is that motherfuckers have, they reveal their strategy. They reveal their route of success. And what you call like a centrist or progressive centrist, whatever you want to say, moderate. We're right in the middle, like a right in the middle person, independent, and like a diamond in the rough. Like I can't be bought, can't be swayed, can't be maneuvered, can't be talked to, can't be talked at. I have no, and that's another thing is like, you know, I'm a Black nationalist, and I believe in Black nationalism, Black supremacy, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And I mean that in all senses of the word, meaning like, I don't take white money. I'll take that back. There may be like a hand or two that I will take money from if they're white, and that's because I know them. You know, I know them well. They've been nothing but kind, helpful, and I never had a problem with them. So they're like, I'll say maybe two, right? But I don't take, like, it's like saying I don't take dark money. No, I don't take white money. And I don't want to take no money because I feel like I'm, you know, to do the work of our people. Like I already know for a fact that I'm already a fucking problem. I've been a problem, and that's another thing that kind of gives me pause about it because to go up against the fraternal order of the police in my city, I have like serious PTSD and serious like fucking issues with them, like so much so that you know, I be going home, and I think ever since that day at the Zion Center, I feel like, man, like me and Jesse were just getting profiled, and I think it's just me, like, because he didn't have no problems after that. But the other day when he helped me, showed me how to get back to the bus stop, to get to my house, we got profiled like twice, like just sitting there being black, right? At the bus stop. Not doing nothing, not smoking no cigarettes. I think he was eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I was trying not to get hit by a motherfucking scooter. And watching motherfucking white field trip walking up and down the motherfucking streets, right? And I'm thinking, this is a Denver partnership type shit, you know what I mean? And when I get home, I kind of cruise my neighborhood a little bit, just see what's cracking off. You know, it's daylight. And as soon as I'm cruising around my neighborhood, I dipped around the corner and a motherfucking T came out the alley. No blinker, no honking. You're supposed to honk when you come out the alley. You know what I mean? And crept around and like it was like slow-mo. Like I'm going this way, he coming this way, and literally I'm like trash. Like that, like and he looking at me and I'm like, you ain't got no business. You ain't just got no business. You just out here just profiling, just stalking and profiling. Then I'm driving down the street. And sure enough, motherfucker flipped the bitch. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting there like, man, I got 2 more blocks. I'm listening to motherfucker. I listen to motherfucking, E40 or whatever. I'm just like jamming in my headphones, sunglasses on. And I'm thinking, man, I just got to hurry up and get back to my spot. And as soon as I'm driving down like the next block, he literally followed me. I didn't even dip around to my down my usual route. I kept it pushing, flipped around, and went back the other way, just like if I was gonna go back to, like to cruise around the park again. You know what I mean? And then drove back around. And what did I see? Waiting there, stalking. I was like, man, come on. You know what I mean? Like, to do something, or you're not gonna do something. Who cares? But either way, whatever you're thinking about doing, it ain't gonna fly. It ain't gonna fly. Because I don't have to stop. Like, I literally seen him roll up on me and try to talk to me, and I just kept it pushing. Kept it pushing. I had my headphones in. He rolling his window down. He trying to drive the same route, same speed as I'm like, this is E40. All right. And I'm like, no, the only way you're really gonna get my attention, you better pull in front of me and make it an issue. Like, I literally have to stop myself from running into your shit. You're rolling down his window trying to talk to me. Like, I don't know. That's another thing, you know what I mean? I got love for the motherfucking fire department, the paramedics, and anything else, but not them. Not them. I done seen too much. And I'm thinking, man, like, there's a lot of racist people sitting on council right now. And I think there's even a sister on there, and I'm pretty sure she a white supremacist too. Really, I'm almost positive. So that's a lot to contend with, you know what I mean? It's a lot to contend with. And so I have to think about my language, how I have to present myself. And that I have a strategy. And my strategy is pretty much all black minded. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna give away too much, but meaning I want the support of Black Aurora, Black Aurorians. You know what I mean? So I want their support. Why? Because what I want to do only really affects FBA. I could totally care less about anybody else right now. I feel like everybody has their needs met. The whites have their needs met. The motherfucking immigrants have their needs met. Everybody's doing the most. But who doesn't have their needs met is Black FBA in that city. So yeah. And I've been listening very, very heavily to what's required when we're looking at a crime bill or crime bill, reparations, this alleged study that was supposed to happen in Denver that we've been trying to get on so that we can make sure it was done right. I had asked the hard questions like, fuck them. What if a motherfucker wants to do it on their own? What does it take? You know what I mean? To do a study or whatever the fuck. To do a study for people to get reparations here in the state of Colorado. Right? I had to ask the hard questions of what that would really look like, because if you look at the people representing the Black faces in high places, they don't really have foundational Black American Denverites or Aurorians in mind. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. And it clearly shows, like when me and Jesse are doing city council. We got a sister on there and we got a motherfucking Tether. And we be doing shit to, really get at the sister. You probably get under her skin a little bit, because she look, I try to give this broad the benefit of the doubt and hope that she wasn't going to turn into a motherfucking mammy. But she sorely disappointed me. And when we bring up certain things and you want to pull this all-inclusive motherfucking all-inclusivity card, and you want to talk about you're not going to pit other buffer classes against whatever, and then try to give me the motherfucking the black speech. I'm gonna pull your whole card. And I do. You know what I mean? And then yeah, so and it's so much so that they have to have a retort. And what's the old saying? Hit dog holler, right? And then you really upsetting them, the balance. Yeah. You ain't doing the right shit. Doesn't matter how melanated you are, doesn't matter what you did. At the end of the day, you serve one master. And that's the mayor. And the mayor is white. So yeah, you ain't doing the work of the fucking people because you don't care. Because if you cared, do better. You know what I mean? And you would actually have realistic, tangible answers, like how certain things are supposed to benefit an area that's been gentrified. And they think, well, that you're bringing certain things back to the Black people that once lived in that area. Like, come on, man, miss me with that bullshit. Like, we can go right now to 5 points, and I'd be like, I'd probably count on one hand, once you get further down, how many motherfucking Black people I see. And it's a goddamn shame. It really is. It's a tear-jerking shame. And to know that, like this week for the city council, I was over there advocating for another day for fucking Juneteenth. Used to be I believe it was like 3 days, 5 days or some shit. Then it went to 3 days. And then it was 2 days. And then it was a sea of motherfucking salt. And now it's like one motherfucking day because sponsors and donors. I'm like, man, how the motherfuckers, the mighty have fallen from grace. You know what I mean? That's what happens when you sell your motherfucking soul to motherfucking the highest bidder. And the highest bidder happens to be motherfucking white people. Now you don't have no sponsorship, so now the actual Black Denverites only get one motherfucking day. 1 day, right? 1 day. That's some motherfucking bullshit when Cinco de Mayo was 3 days. Pride is a whole motherfucking week. You know what I mean? It's a lot of bullshit. Anyway, I'm about to get to the juicy part right here.
To get in the game or have a billionaire friend or two, how does Representative Omar stay in power, in office, you know what I mean, and then not be tethered to the moneyed interests that would like to buy your vote or your influence? What role is money playing in this, and how do ordinary people without all of that still have access to government?
Yeah, I mean, money is a huge problem, and a huge deterrent for people seeking to run for office. So, just as an example, Keith Ellison, who's my predecessor, would raise about $350,000, and that was pretty good. Before 2016. I raised 5 million, 8 million, and that's still not enough. And so, I worked on a lot of campaigns. I was a volunteer. I had a regular job. I was an educator with the University of Minnesota. So I, would run my friends for local office for free. And nowadays you like that's not accessible, right? Everybody wants to draw a huge check. There is, and yes, people should be compensated for their labor. There's like all of these consultants. So we've created an infrastructure that is hard to sustain. And many a times, when members are running, it is hard. If you come from poor working background, you don't have a network, you don't know any billionaire friends, you don't even know millionaire friends. You don't even know a couple of thousandaires. It's a challenge, right? I remember when I first ran, I called one of my friends. He was a teacher, and I was like, $100, can you donate $100? And he said, Ilhan, I don't have $100. But you know what? I will skip going out for 2 weeks. And because you're worth it, I'll give you the $100.
Wow. And
he reminds me every day now. He's like, it was worth it. It was worth not having beers for 2 weekends. It was worth it. And so it is, because those are the only people right? And so it is very challenging. Now we have online fundraising and those kind of things, and we have the opportunity to meet and go out and crowd raise, but not every member has that ability, and so then they become reliant on lobbyists and corporations, which means they are voting on behalf of the lobbyists and the corporations and the special interests, which means they're not able to take positions of integrity.
Wow.
And so then we lose our ability to be represented by folks. I don't take corporate PAC money. I don't meet with lobbyists.
Hold on a second. Say that again. Say that one more time.
I don't take corporate PAC money.
Come on, you all. Let's do this.
I don't meet with lobbyists because my time and my voice and my representation is for the people.
Wow.
And so I don't want to have to take votes that don't sit well with me. And if they don't sit well with me, I know that they don't sit well with the people that I represent, and the people that see themselves in my representation.
With that being said, I think you better hit them with the trigger alert.
Okay. This is a show that triggers people because you have entered a free think zone. If you are not willing to be exposed to other points of view, tune out now and don't read the comments. You have been warned.
There it is. Representative Omar has just hit you with the trigger alert. Here we are powered by the people, and you see that, community is everything. And I really appreciate you saying you reach out to individuals to power your campaign. And with that being said, I would really encourage everyone here and everybody that's watching to contribute to your campaign. Invest in your campaign. Invest in democracy. Like just here in the Free Think Zone, those who are willing to make a contribution of any amount? Can I just see by a show of hands? Because I want to see if we're able to support what we're hearing. And we see that there are many hands here that would do that. And so what I would ask Mackenzie is, to those hands that were up, can you give them a QR code from this particular gathering? Everybody, before you leave, we would like to give you one of these so that we can, be a people-powered campaign and have this type of voice representing us. And it's so refreshing. That being said, I want to ask, how did the Democratic Party lose the presidential election? I want to give you an easy question off the, I just want to go real mild right now, but Representative, how did our party lose this election? And then I know in the House, you all picked up 1 seat, but lost 4 in the Senate. Where are we at? What's happening? And how? Like the postmortem, what happened? Just an easy question for you.
Yeah, right? I mean, a lot of things went wrong. I think we in politics we say people have short memories, but there are times where people do not have short memories. And one of the long memories we were counting on was that people remembering how horrendous Trump was and how detrimental it would be to our republic, our democracy, everything we hold dear, in re-electing him and giving him another shot. Turns out people did have a short-term memory in that regard. What they did have a long-term memory for was President Biden promising that he was going to be a one-term president. Right? What they did remember was that we were complacent in a genocide. What they did remember is that when we did have the chance to pass the minimum wage, we didn't do that. What they did remember is that when we had a chance to overhaul everything in the Build Back Better legislation, we didn't do that. And so there were promises made that were not kept, and people remembered and said, I'm not going to reward you for this. And when the president did step aside, he gave Vice President Harris a short window and a short leash to have an agenda that was authentic to her, that did not carry the baggage of his presidency. And I believe, my governor, Tim Walz, who was her VP candidate, candidly talks about this. There was a lot of listening to consultants and not enough listening to the people in what they were looking for. When you are convinced that it makes sense to campaign with Liz Cheney and not to give a Palestinian representative 5 minutes on the mic at our convention, then you are misled. And the American people were not going to fall for it.
It's interesting because you've got to go after these independents, and you've got to go after some of the other party in terms of those who show up to vote. However, the Democratic Party lost representation of the Democratic voters showing up for the Democratic Party. Like, it's almost like you lost your own base as well. When you think about those protests and you see all of the young individuals on those campuses, you see individuals that were risking their degrees because of principles, etc. And you know that young voters are very important, and that generally takes place on the university and college campuses.
All right, that's enough of that. Okay, so we heard what the fuck she had to say. We did. We heard what the fuck she had to say. Okay, well, so, all right, so pause right there, right? Let me get over here. Let me do this real quick. So I can, okay, so this happened. Jesse says it was like a Saturday. I don't know. I think it was on a Sunday. Let me see. All right, so the same day or whatever, or the next day, this happens.
We're here, brother. We're here. We can't do nothing about that. We can't do nothing. We can. Not here. You have to answer this. Not here, bro. You're not.
People are taking video right now. He was wearing an orange suit with like something on his back. He's spraying alcohol. Spraying alcohol, but what he did was he made it look like he was here.
He's drinking Molotov cocktails. And for us, well, we can't do when he's got Molotov cocktails on. If you are fighting, you have to. That's what he's got right here. Is Molotov alcohol. They are killers. Get back, Mom. Just stay away. Just stay away. He's right there. He's throwing Molotov cocktails right there.
Where you fucking belong?
And you're going to jail, man. I don't give a fuck. You don't antagonize shit like that. You cause this shit.
Right.
He's not.
Right.
He didn't do anything.
Chill.
I don't want to hear it. Everybody get back. Everybody get back. Everybody get back. You're going to jail. He's right there. He's on the ground right there. Who was the person that got attacked? Right here. This guy right here. This guy's the one that he's motherfucker.
As we continue to follow the latest out of Boulder, Colorado, a man armed with a makeshift flamethrower launched an attack on demonstrators in Colorado who are calling for the release of Israeli hostages in Gaza. 12 people were injured, and the FBI described the violence as a, quote, targeted terror attack. The suspect, identified by the FBI as 45-year-old Mohammed Sabri Solomon, yelled "Free Palestine" during the attack on Sunday. That's all according to the FBI Denver's field office, and authorities believe that Solomon acted alone. But a lot of questions do remain here as we do await more information to come out from officials. And I want to bring in Bobby McDonald. He's a former Secret Service member. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here this morning. And let's just start with this question of what do we still not know here, given your background? When you take a look at what happened in Colorado, what questions still remain for you?
Well, good morning, Christy. Always nice to be back with you. A lot of things going on here, and we really do know quite a bit already. I'm very impressed with the amount of information that we have. This gentleman, and I use that term very loosely, obviously did his homework here. He knew that the parties were going to be holding their vigil in that area, which they did every Sunday. He had the different Molotov cocktails. He had done a number of internet searches on different types of acts and things that he could do to disrupt the situation. So we know a lot here. Law enforcement now is canvassing friends, family, and things of that nature to see what's going on here. Why didn't we see something here? Or why didn't somebody in the family and friends group see something here? It's been indicated that he was planning this for up to a year. So somebody somewhere along the way has been able to see something. They obviously didn't say something, so we could try to nip this in the bud before something tragic happened like it did on Sunday.
And that was going to be my next question for you. You know, if he had been planning this for a year, what you just pointed out, how was this not maybe caught beforehand? And is that going to be a big key piece as this investigation does continue here?
Yeah, I think it will be. And again, we're going to be interviewing friends, family, daughters, sons, wives, things of that nature to try to get that nugget or two or three of information to see how we can put the pieces of the puzzle together here. This guy did his homework and knew exactly what he was doing. We now have the United States government coming in and filing a hate crime charge against him under 18 U.S.C. 20 249, which carries up to 10 years in prison in and of itself. So a lot of things going on here, a lot of different charges. Those charges may escalate depending upon the outcome of the medical situation with the victims, and we'll just have to see where it goes. But it's important that the law enforcement officials here go out, work hard, dot their I's, cross their T's, and make sure they're doing, again, everything perfectly within the law to make sure that a good, solid case is developed here for prosecution.
You mentioned charges, and I do have a question as it relates to he was not in the U.S. legally. Can you go over for us what charges he might be facing, but how does his status there play a role in this investigation, and how will that affect the outcome?
Well, I think it may be a portion of the investigation and a portion of the outcome, but I think the main thrust of the charges here are going to relate to the actions in Boulder. This may be ancillary issues that will come up with respect to his status. It certainly isn't a good optics that we have found now another illegal immigrant here in the country is engaging in this type of nefarious activity, which is causing harm or death or all these different things. So the optics of it, again, are not very good for the situation over the last number of years. But I think the main thrust of the charges here will remain in and around the actions that he participated in on Sunday.
And, going back to this discussion of he had been, planning this a year earlier, we also saw just a week or two ago 2 Israeli embassy staffers shot to death in Washington, D.C. So going forward here, are law enforcement going to be able to really look into how can we prevent things like this from happening, or how difficult is that for law enforcement to get to be in the know, I guess, so to speak, of when things are being planned?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's important for law enforcement to be doing its job every day, but we need the help of the public. We need the help of everybody out there to be situationally aware of what's going on in and around their community. If we see something that's just out of the ordinary, if we see something that's just not right, we need to report that and let law enforcement handle those type of things. We also have to look at copycat issues now. When people see these type of actions going on or this type of nefarious activity, other people try to engage in it in a different place, in a different time, with potentially the same type of group or a different type of group. So a lot of things going on here that law enforcement is going to have their plate very full as we move along, as these issues are still out and about in our society.
One of my last questions for you is, like you said, we actually do know a lot about this already. When can we expect more information to come out here?
Well, he's detained now with a very high bond, which is going to allow law enforcement to go out and canvass the community, canvass his area of residence, canvass any jobs that he's been involved with, canvass family, neighbors, just to get a vibe about him. What was he doing? Where was he doing it? Where did he get all these things? How did he develop his plan to institute or implement, the carnage that he did on Sunday? So we're going to take the very beginning part as the actions on Sunday and work our way backwards to see what things contributed to this very horrible act. And again, how we can try to pick up these things in the community and prevent them from happening. It's not only our job to just put the case together now. We do, as a society, have to try to figure out how to prevent these things from happening.
All right, Bobby McDonald, always appreciate you joining live now from Fox. Thank you so much for your breakdown.
Thank you, Christy. Good to be with you.
You as well.
We're here, brother. We're here. We can't do nothing about that. We can't do nothing. We can. Not here. You have to answer this. Not here, bro. You're not.
I'm taking video right now. He was wearing an orange suit with like something on his back.
Spraying alcohol.
Spraying alcohol, but what he did was he made it look like he was a chair.
He's making Molotov cocktails.
And for us,
Well, we can't do it when he's got Molotov cocktails in
if you are fighting, you have to.
That's what he's got right here. Is Molotov cocktails.
They are killers.
Get back, Mom. Stay away. Just stay away. He's right there. He's throwing Molotov cocktails right there.
Will you fucking
fucking belong.
And you're going to jail, man. I don't give a fuck. You don't antagonize shit like that. You caused this shit.
Right.
He's not.
Right.
He didn't do anything.
I don't want to hear it.
Everybody get back. Everybody get back. Everybody get back.
You're going to jail.
He's right there. He's on the ground right there.
Who was the person that got attacked?
Right here.
This guy right here.
I wasn't even here.
No, this guy is the one that got these motherfuckers.
He can take his weapon. He can take his somebody's thousand.
On the ground now! On the ground!
Where you fucking belong! You piece of shit! You piece of shit!
You don't antagonize shit!
I'm not trying. There's a policeman. Right. My other woman stands out here.
I don't want to hear it. Fuck you, chief. I'm cool, bro. I'm not this guy. You want to kill him? Who wants to get? I want you to do it.
What did I do?
I said I do shit, man. This guy right here. This guy.
I wasn't even here.
No, this guy's the one that got this motherfucker. Don't do this shit. You.
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up!
He needs to get out of here. You need to go to jail. You need to go to jail.
I guess he tried to light people on fire. I thought he was a lawn worker spraying something because he started off with that thing and he was spraying. I thought it caught fire on accident, but it turned out that he was lighting people on fire.
We are staying on top of the fallout from Sunday's terror attack in Boulder. 12 people were hurt when authorities say a man threw Molotov cocktails into a group peacefully demonstrating on the Pearl Street Mall. The group was calling for the release of Israeli hostages in Gaza.
If you missed it at the top of the hour, the White House now confirms the wife and 5 children of that suspect are in ICE custody and could be deported as soon as tonight. The suspect is facing federal hate crime charges as authorities call this a targeted attack. Jewish leaders say it's just the latest in a dramatic surge of anti-Semitism since the conflict in Gaza began. Just last night, we heard from a local rabbi who says he's been forced to shift crucial resources into security.
I would much rather use that to teach. I would much rather use that to help people in the community. I would much rather use that to hire additional staff so we can meet the needs of our community, but we're having to spend it on security.
And there is a group trying now to provide a solution after this, raising money to help pay for enhanced security and added protection for the community.
Denver 7's Maggie Wolanski spoke to Jewish Colorado about why these funds are so needed.
Flowers and flags mark the spot of the tragedy on the Pearl Street Mall.
The Jewish community is connected and small and vulnerable. That's something that we're feeling right now.
Feelings of isolation and sadness have followed since Sunday.
I want other communities to understand that the Jewish community is full of people, that what is happening at the center of these stories is impacting real people and real lives. Jews in America, Jews in Colorado, are being attacked for what is happening half a world away by a foreign government.
Brandon Ratner, Senior Director of the Jewish Community Relations Council, shares how people can help right now through the Jewish Colorado Boulder Security Fund.
And we see a need right now, whether it's supporting the victims individually, helping the community, adding extra security, or even providing mental health and trauma relief.
He says funding for security has been a topic of conversation for a few years now.
So we see Jewish organizations shrinking their programmatic budget, shrinking the services that they provide to the Jewish community because they need to keep finding ways to keep our community safe.
A burden and responsibility that Ratner says many don't have to worry about.
It's a sad reality that budgets for Jewish organizations throughout the state have to constantly be edited to make sure that security is fully funded.
In addition to enhanced security, the fund will also support mental health and trauma relief.
Jewish identity is a complex one, and when people make no effort to understand it, on top of the violence our community is experiencing, it leaves people really, really in need of mental health support.
Because in this heartache, there's hope. The community will come together to pick each other up.
And folks are really hurting up there, and we want to do our part to help them heal.
Maggie Wolanski, Denver 7.
If you would like to help, you can donate to Jewish Colorado's emergency fund on their website, jewishcolorado.org. Their goal is to raise $160,000. And Maggie has been speaking with people impacted every day since the attack on Sunday. If you saw what happened, or if you've been touched by this tragedy in any way, Maggie wants to hear from you. Scan the QR code on your screen to connect with her directly, or email her at maggie.wilansky@denver7.com.
Fox 31 Shaw Turner in Colorado Springs live for us with more. Shaw.
Well, we have noted that Solomon was living in the United States illegally for 2 months, and now his wife and 5 children are being stripped of their visas. Now, I have talked to neighbors here near his home, and they say they find it hard to believe that they will most likely never see any of them again.
Yeah, he was a normal guy. I would have never thought in a million years he would do something like this.
As the FBI continues its investigation into Sunday's tragic attack in Boulder, residents who lived in Mohammed Solomon's Colorado Springs apartment building tell Fox 31 they now fear for his family, who they describe as quiet and never causing any problems.
As a husband and as a dad, he should have made better decisions.
Law enforcement now widens its spotlight. Solomon's family is now under suspicion. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem posting this statement on social media.
Mohammed's despicable actions will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But we're also investigating to what extent his family knew about this horrific attack, if they had any knowledge of it, or if they provided support to it.
Solomon's daughter had just graduated from high school and wanted to study medicine. She was recognized by the Colorado Springs Gazette as a Best and Brightest Scholarship recipient, who said, "Coming to the USA has fundamentally changed me. Most importantly, I came to appreciate that family is the unchanging support." The New York Post reports that the family has been taken to the Dilley detention, concerns by some who knew the family.
His wife and children are now gone. Do you think that's right?
No, absolutely not. I think it's wrong.
Fox 31 political consultant Andy Boyan says investigating families linked to suspects is not uncommon.
If you remember Columbine High School in 1999, we were worried about the parents and the families of those 2 suspects that died carrying out some other kind of potential attack.
But there are concerns about what he calls conflicts with the U.S. Constitution.
To pick them up and preemptively move them out of state in order to prevent any further attack is against the Constitution and illegal.
And Fox 31 also learned that Solomon did leave messages for his family inside of the home. Now, authorities at this point are saying that they plan what's called an expedited deportation in the case of Solomon's wife and 5 children. Shaw Turner reporting live in Colorado Springs tonight, Fox 31.
Shaw, thank you. Less than 72 hours after the attack in Boulder, the suspect's family has been taken into custody. This is the wife and 5 children of Mohammed Solomon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
I'm Alexandra Lewis. The federal government announced earlier today that ICE has detained the family amid the investigation of Sunday's attack that injured 12 people. 9 News reporter Jeremy Hohola is joining us now. Jeremy, what exactly does this mean for the family, and then what's next for the suspect?
Yeah, well, as Mohammed Solomon sits in jail in Boulder facing state and federal charges, his wife and 5 children are now in custody too. The Secretary of Homeland Security said they are being investigated for any knowledge of the attack. In court documents, Mohammed Solomon claimed to investigators his family was unaware of his plans to attack people in Boulder with Molotov cocktails. 12 people were injured. Solomon, his wife, and 5 children lived at this home in Colorado Springs that federal agents searched shortly after Sunday's attack. There, they found a phone and a journal. Now, this afternoon, Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem announced that ICE now has the family in custody so they can be investigated for what they knew or didn't know about the attack. However, the White House posted online saying the family could be deported by tonight. If true, this would indicate the family has already been quickly investigated within the past 72 hours. We reached out to Colorado immigration attorney Matthew Shaftel about this process amid this investigation.
This is obviously a much more complicated case because of the gravity of the charges against Mr. Solomon. So we don't really know what's going to happen. They may keep them in Colorado as part of the investigation. One guess of mine is they're not necessarily, they may rethink trying to rapidly deport the family because they may need the family here as part of the investigation.
And so, we know the suspect filed for asylum shortly after coming to the United States 3 years ago. Shaftel says his wife could attempt to file for asylum to try and stave off any deportation, but it's unknown exactly what the status is of each family member and if they were included in his asylum application. Solomon is due in court on his federal hate crime case this coming Friday, so we'll see what happens in the next few days. Kim, back to you.
He also made mention, did he not, to investigators that he was waiting until after a child graduated?
Yeah, he told investigators, the FBI, according to his federal case, that he wanted to wait till his daughter graduated from high school to carry out this planned attack that he was planning, according to the investigation, for the past year.
Well, we'll wait to hear more about this family and what happens to them. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jerry.
Shoulder shrug. Okay. So when this happened, that day or whatever, I gotta read it. I look it up on Jesse's phone. Hold on a second. Let me get back over there. Okay. All right. I see little eyeballs. Thanks for watching. Okay. It says Colorado Democrats facing backlash for fundraiser with Ilhan Omar after Boulder terror attack, calling it reprehensible. Let me see. It's in an article. Let's see.
You know, to make sense of all this, well, not to make sense of it, but to talk about the straight line, the same attitude you see in the college campuses, the same celebration you saw October 7th with the killing of Jews over in Israel, is the same attitude of this 30-year-old last.
All right, anyway. It's covering it. Okay, so it says Colorado Democrats are facing criticism for leading a fundraiser with Representative Omar, less than an hour after Sunday's anti-Semitic terrorist attack in which 12 people were hurt, including a Holocaust survivor. The suspect, 45-year-old Mohammed Solomon, is facing federal hate crime charges and numerous state-level attempted murder charges for using an incendiary device to burn people who were rallying for the release of hostages held by Hamas in Gaza ever since the terrorist group attacked Israel on October 7th, 2023. It says Solomon was in the country illegally and was overstaying his visa and work authorization, according to authorities. About 30 minutes later, in nearby Denver, there was a private reception with Omar, who has been a major critic of Israel, with many other Democrats listed as the hosts. Ticket prices ranged from $500 to $7,000. Okay? Omar is a member of a progressive group of lawmakers in Congress called the Squad. Let's see. Colorado Democrats who raise money for a notorious anti-Semite should be ashamed of themselves for ever doing so, but doing it while victims of the latest wave of anti-Semitic violence were en route to the hospital is even more hypocritical and reprehensible, Colorado House Minority Caucus Chair Representative Anthony Hartsbrook, Republican, said in a statement on Monday. Just last year, House Democrats turned away families of Israel hostages, denying them access to the House floor for fear that House Democrats' own radical members might cause a scene. Enough is enough. We must speak loudly and clearly against extremists who justify violence against Jewish communities worldwide. There is no place for anti-Semitism in Colorado, Hartsbrook added. In the aftermath of the attack, Omar posted on X, violence against all forms is never acceptable. We must reject hatred and harm in all its forms. Okay. Rep. Judy Joseph D. Boulder, who attended the event, faced additional scrutiny, but she told Fox News Digital that she condemns anti-Semitism. Sunday was a deeply painful day for our community. My heart is with the victims of the Boulder attack and all those affected. I unequivocally condemn hate and violence in all forms, including anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, Joseph said in an email to Fox News Digital. I've had concerns about my attendance at a private event for the Congresswoman Omar. I was originally invited to introduce her at the Young Democrats event focused on youth engagement, something I cared deeply about. When she was unable to attend, I chose to welcome her at a separate gathering as a matter of courtesy and civic respect, she continued. Holocaust survivor among victims. Okay, yeah. Attending that event was not an endorsement of any particular policy or commitment or comment. It was an extension of my role as a public servant who believes in dialogue, inclusion, and maintaining open lines of communication, even when views differ. Condemning anti-Semitism and supporting peace, dignity, and human rights for all, including Israel's and Palestinians, are not mutually exclusive. I believe both are essential to a just and compassionate society, Joseph further stated. These are difficult times and remain committed to listening, learning, and leading with care for all members of our community, Jewish, Muslim, and beyond. Fox Digital reached out to Omar's campaign for comment. And I had to leave a comment. I had to. I was like, I had to leave a comment because I was like, the comments were like, whoa. And I was like, do. And I had to say something. I had to see if they even posted it. Let's see. They might not have posted it because, they hoes like that. Let's see. Let's see. There were a lot of comments. Let me see. Yeah, no, I don't think they let me. I don't even think they let me post my shit because I don't see it. Because I was like, I said, oh, motherfucking, Jeff Fart started that motherfucking, fundraising shit right off. Don't believe me? It's on YouTube. I just gave him the business. So look it up. He started that shit right off. And nope. Nope, did he post it? Hose. Yeah, no, they didn't do that. Well, anyway, I just keep it like that. I did. I find my phone, I can prove it. But yeah, I posted it. I was like, he did it. He started that fundraiser right off. Let me see. And I think I got one more topic. Yeah, I had to tell him. I had to tell him, oh boy. Because they were doing a fucking fundraiser. I think it was poor timing. And obviously, motherfuckers don't like it, so they had to put their shit on blast. I don't really care personally. So I was like, do. But I had to call that out. I think Jesse wants me to run this. He wants me to run this shit. Let me see. Okay. This is local news. Let me see.
When Denver Mayor Mike Johnston announced a $250 million budget shortfall over the next 2 years, he cited reasons outside the city's control.
When you see the collapse of sales tax revenue that we've seen, that means this structural gap continues to grow.
Denver has seen the cost to operate a government and provide services continue to grow, while its largest revenue source falls. Turns out that's not a Denver problem. It's everyone's problem. Colorado's 5 largest cities, Denver, Colorado Springs, Aurora, Fort Collins, and Lakewood, all say they're seeing sales tax revenues fall, fueled by economic uncertainty on the national level.
Looking at about $25 million in the general fund.
Aurora is facing a projected $20 to $30 million budget shortfall in 2026. That's less than about 2% of its entire budget. While nothing has been decided yet on how to fill that gap, Aurora leaders discussed everything from trimming department budgets to furloughs.
Employee effects, pay and insurance assumptions, furloughs, everything is on the table.
Fort Collins has slowed down hiring and limited non-essential expenditures as they see sales tax revenues slow in northern Colorado. Colorado Springs and Lakewood also say sales tax revenue is slower than anticipated, but neither are currently in budget talks.
So looking ahead, hiring freezes will start today. We'll begin the furlough process June 1.
Denver's budget shortfall is about 4.5% of its total budget. As the state's largest city begins the process to try and fill that gap, it's clear it won't be the only city making hard decisions. The key problem here is declining sales tax, people spending less money in cities. But this is, of course, a bit of a vicious cycle. If you furlough people during already tough times, it's obviously not going to want to make people spend more money, Kyle.
And you've reached out around the state trying to get a feel for how much of this is Denver specific. Certainly there are issues that are Denver specific, and then how much of this is trickling out everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And you're starting to hear some cities say, we're looking at our savings, at our reserves. You're going to start hearing more of that as more cities start to look forward to their 2026 budgets later in the year.
All right, Mark Salinger, appreciate that.
Denver City Council members have been pressing Johnston for a budget deficit number for more than a month. Today we found out the city is short $50 million this year and $200 million next year. As a result, city employees will be furloughed. The lowest paid will be unpaid for 2 days, the Friday before Labor Day and the day after Thanksgiving. The highest paid employees will be unpaid for 7 days this year. The mayor also said some city employees will be laid off. And he defended the spending on migrant and homelessness services, which is about $76 million this year.
But also, we do not have any encampments in our city center. We do not have any large encampments anywhere in the city. If you are running a business in this city or have a home in this city, that is a transformational change that makes you more likely to do business here or live here. And so those are investments we have made. They have paid off. They have worked. We will keep making them. And that will actually be a key driver to economic growth. So the key is actually investing in the things that drive growth. And this is one of them.
There was no announcement of specific city service cuts, nothing like fewer hours at the rec center or the library. Johnston said trash would be picked up and public safety would still be prioritized. And by the way, police officers and 911 call takers are exempt from the furloughs. The specific city cuts that will apparently come throughout the year, we'll hear about that taking place next year, most likely. I also talked with the mayor after the announcement about his proposal to give raises to his cabinet members, who are among the highest paid city employees, while now talking about furloughs. That's not happening anymore, the raises. That's part of our conversation on Next with Kyle Clark at 6 o'clock.
That's super interesting, and I knew you would ask that, Marshall. Did this news come as a surprise to somebody like you, who covers this all the time?
I didn't know what the number was. That's something that we've been hearing from City Council asking, what is the deficit number? But once we found out it was $3-figure million, the result, the furloughs, and then the city, the layoffs perhaps is surprising. The furloughs, once you know the number, that doesn't seem all that surprising, but not knowing what that denominator is, it's hard to know what happens after that. So overall, yeah, surprised with how significant the number is. And then the end result, it feels like, 2009, COVID again. I'd like to look back at what the service cuts were then to get an idea of what we might be facing looking forward.
Well, you will. I know you will in the days and weeks ahead, and we're looking forward to what you have on it next today. Thanks so much.
Shocking news for city employees today. Denver's mayor announced a hiring freeze and possible layoffs to balance a budget crisis.
City facing a $250 million budget deficit and a growing economic uncertainty. Tip 7's Brandon Richard digging into what caused the problem, who is to blame. And Brandon's in the studio tonight.
Well, the mayor finds himself in a position that no mayor ever wants to be in, forced to announce cuts, employee furloughs, all the while acknowledging the problem could get worse. He's putting part of the blame on President Trump and on government spending that took place years before he says he took office. But just how much is he to blame?
I just want to say as an opener, I know that this city has faced difficult challenges before. And in each one of those moments, we've come through those challenges stronger.
And with that, Denver Mayor Mike Johnston stood before cameras Thursday and announced the city is facing a budget crisis.
What we know right now is we are seeing structural financial challenges in the city that are true around the state and around the country.
He says the city's about $250 million in the red. He says it's forced him to order an immediate hiring freeze. And starting in June, most city employees will have to take 2 to 7 furlough days based on their level of income. He says this won't apply to sworn police, fire, sheriff, or 911 operators.
We do not envision a scenario where it's possible to right-size this budget without that impact on personnel.
He puts part of the blame on declining sales tax revenue that he says was caused by economic uncertainty created by President Trump, even though Trump has only been in office since mid-January.
This is the fundamental dynamics of a country that is worried about the economic forecast and is stopping spending as a result.
He also blames Denver's government spending that he says mostly occurred prior to him taking office.
That means structurally over the last 12 years, we have grown the costs of government 8% more than we've grown the revenues.
Right here.
That is unsustainable growth of government.
I asked the mayor about his spending. You also spending $57 million a year on your All-In Mile High initiative. There was a proposal to give raises to department heads, even though these people are already making 6-figure salaries, much more than typical Denverites do. So don't you have a spending problem? The mayor didn't answer that question directly, but says he is committed to reducing spending. He says migrant spending has already come down significantly. And when it comes to homelessness
is absolutely an investment in the city's economic growth.
And he says to get past the crisis, in addition to cuts, the city must invest in things that will spur economic growth. The mayor says the city must continue to invest in capital improvement projects like the proposed professional women's soccer stadium and the National Western Center expansion in downtown. He says those are the types of things that will drive the growth he says the city really needs.
Not necessary projects, though, Brandon. So how can the city continue to spend money on them given this huge budget shortfall?
Yeah, that's a good question. And that's because funding for those projects comes from a separate fund, a capital fund that's financed mostly through debt like bonds. The fund that's in the red right now, what we're talking about, is the general fund, which is the fund that the city uses day to day to operate and provide city services. It's mostly made up of sales tax revenue.
All right, Brandon Richard for us tonight. Thanks so much for reporting. And taking a closer look at city spending here, the Denver auditor is questioning if the city is misusing taxpayer dollars, specifically on climate projects. In 2020, Denver voters approved a 0.25% sales and use tax to fund efforts to tackle climate change. Those tax dollars benefit the Climate Protection Fund, which is managed by the Office of Climate Action, Sustainability, and Resilience. Now, between 2021 and 2024, that fund received some $189 million. The auditor's office released a pretty troubling report today that found the Climate Office is funding projects for other agencies that do not always align with that office's goal and against the intent of Denver voters. It also found the office is understaffed, has a 33% vacancy rate, and that is causing underperformance. So in response to the report, the Office of Climate Action, Sustainability, and Resilience says it'll update its hiring plan and get staffing on track. It also says it will create a better process of monitoring projects funded by that voter-approved Climate Protection Fund.
Mike Johnston, the current mayor of Denver, has firmly positioned himself in support of the city's welcoming policies toward immigrants. While Denver avoids using the term sanctuary city, Johnston supports the city's Public Safety Enforcement Priorities Act, which limits cooperation between local law enforcement and federal immigration authorities. Under his leadership, city departments have been directed to uphold ordinances that align with sanctuary-style protections. On March 5th, 2025, Johnston testified before Congress, joining mayors from New York, Chicago, and Boston to defend their immigration policies. He's been openly critical of ICE raids in Denver, accusing them of fear-mongering orchestrated by the Trump administration. Johnston insists Denver's approach to immigration enforcement is legally sound and defensible. In a move to shield undocumented residents, Johnston launched a Know Your Rights campaign to educate immigrants about legal protections against federal enforcement. His administration issued strict guidelines for city employees regarding ICE visits to city property. Johnston also introduced the Denver Asylum Seeker Program, a taxpayer-funded initiative designed to integrate migrants into the local workforce. Mayor Johnston's approach has sparked growing controversy across Denver, especially as Denver has spent over $350 million on migrant services. Now, Johnston's policies are under federal scrutiny, with the House Oversight Committee launching an investigation into the legality and consequences of Denver's immigration stance. Johnston claims to support deporting violent criminals in coordination with ICE, but stops short of endorsing broader immigration enforcement. He opposes mass deportations and has gone as far as expressing willingness to engage in civil disobedience or even face jail time to prevent deportations he deems unjust. Mayor Mike Johnston remains deeply committed to Denver's welcoming policies, even as criticism and financial strain mount. As he continues to defend these policies, Denver's sanctuary stance under Johnston highlights the growing divide between progressive city leaders and calls for stronger immigration enforcement nationwide.
New at 6. For more than a year, the city of Denver has been trying to find solutions to tackle the city's homelessness crisis. Part of its plan seems to be working.
And data from the Department of Housing Stability show the number of families living on the street dropped in 2024, but families experiencing homelessness significantly increased.
Denver 7's Veronica Acosta digs into those numbers and asks city leaders how they plan to solve the problem and get people into stable housing.
It's a situation no parent wants to be in.
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
Wondering where their family will sleep at night.
This has become a growing problem in the past few years.
In Denver, that problem is clearer than ever because while the number of unsheltered homeless families has decreased since last year, overall family homelessness has shot up 150% since 2022, meaning many families may be off the streets, but they're living in shelters and still considered homeless. Joy McGuire Olson, who helps families at Denver Rescue Missions The Crossing, says she's seen it firsthand.
Largely, it's related to finances, people being able to kind of priced out of wherever their housing is. Some of it is due to employment opportunities that have either shifted or changed, and they're not keeping up with those things. And sometimes it's all about like gaps.
Jeff Kositsky with Denver's Department of Housing Stability says the increase in families experiencing homelessness is likely for 3 reasons. The first, more eviction filings than ever before.
Pre-COVID, there were around just under 9,000 evictions filed in Denver each year. Now we're up to almost 16,000 a year.
The second, newcomer families who haven't been able to find their footing. And third, a loss in access to things like Medicare, Medicaid, even Social Security. Denver 7 asked Kositsky what the solution is. He says the city is already working on it.
We need to slow down the number of people who are entering the homelessness response system.
They plan to achieve that by starting an eviction prevention program alongside Denver public schools, expanding the city's rapid rehousing program, and rearranging money the city already has access to.
We're, again, in a tough budget year trying to figure out how do we best use what we already have.
But ultimately, there's one goal, getting children without a home into one. In Denver, Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
taking a closer look at possible solutions for families seeking safe housing. Last week, the City of Denver and Volunteers of America, Colorado opened a new homeless shelter. The Theodora Family Hotel has 60 family suites and holds 240 people. It's located near Sloan's Lake at Colfax and Xavier.
We will provide them housing navigation, and we will provide them parenting skills and behavioral and mental health if that's needed. We also will take care of the children. We'll do child care while they're looking for jobs.
The shelter cost $28 million to build, and the City of Denver paid for half.
3, 2, 1.
Warren Village is celebrating the grand opening of a new affordable housing campus right here in Denver. Warren Village, a local nonprofit focused on expanding housing access, celebrated the two-building facility this weekend. It includes an on-site housing and social support services for residents. The facility also has an early learning center designed to help young parents. The full facility has 89 housing units and can eventually house more than 150 people.
When you see that you have less money, you have to balance the budget to make it work. That's what every business in this city does. It's what every family in this city does. It's what this government should do.
Denver's mayor announcing major cuts, furloughs, and potential layoffs for city workers today as the city looks to cut its general budget by 12%.
That's more than what we saw during the pandemic when it was slashed by 10%. Mayor Mike Johnston also indicating there is more pain ahead as the city faces massive revenue gaps this year and next year. Your investigator Brian Moss has been working on these budget issues for weeks.
Yeah, Brian joins us live in Denver tonight. So, Brian, how deep is this hole?
Denver is definitely behind the 8 ball here. The hole is pretty deep, according to the mayor, due to stagnant revenue growth for the city and increasing costs of running city government. The mayor said today that for the remainder of 2025, the city is facing a $50 million gap in revenues. And for 2026, a $200 million projected deficit for the city of Denver. And with that, an immediate hiring freeze for the city started today, and the city workers will start taking furlough days in June.
The truth is, this is hard, and this is going to be hard.
The first to feel the budget squeeze, city workers will have to take between 2 and 7 furlough days off, depending on how much they make. What are you going to cut?
Well, I'm going to first take the most furloughs of any employee in the city. I mean, our senior appointees will. I'll take 7 furloughs. I'll write a check back to the city for those days. And then I'm going to look at every single dollar we spend in the mayor's office in terms of travel, in terms of food, in terms of contracts. So we'll look at all those. We'll be doing the same thing every other department does. How are we going to make cuts? And we'll start with all those discretionary spending. So we'll start that tomorrow.
A city hiring freeze starts now, and layoffs, said the mayor, are inevitable. While there's been much criticism of how much Johnston has spent on homelessness and if that's contributed to this budget pinch, the mayor batted that away, saying that's been an investment in city growth.
So we do not have any encampments in our city center. We do not have any large encampments anywhere in the city. If you are running a business in this city or have a home in this city, that is a transformational change that makes you more likely to do business here or live here.
Along the same lines, he was hopeful that revitalizing downtown will bring back visitors willing to spend money and buff up the city's bottom line.
We have to do 2 things. As I said, you have flattening revenue, you have increasing costs. You have to do 2 things. You have to both drive increases in your revenue to recover, and you have to drive reductions in your costs to make those 2 lines meet. So we will do both of those things.
He said city government has been growing at unsustainable levels and will have to get smaller, faster, and more efficient. But what does all this mean for Denver residents? What's the impact going to be on the people who actually live in Denver?
How we can right-size this budget while minimizing any impact on services.
Much of what's going to happen, the impacts of current and future cuts, is unclear and unknown right now.
And there are great reasons to believe that when this city faces hard challenges head-on, we come out the other side better.
Also ahead, the mayor indicated that city agencies may have to face some pretty deep budget cuts, and there may be some consolidation ahead for city agencies. And what may be an understatement, Mayor Johnston told city workers today there may be tough times ahead. Reporting live, I'm Brian Moss, covering Colorado First.
All right, Brian, thank you.
The city of Denver is simultaneously talking about budget cuts and furloughs, while also greenlighting more than $1 billion in new construction for 3 projects. Our Mark Salinger looks at where the money's coming from.
The headlines in Denver can be confusing.
Tonight, Denver City Council approved more than $800 million of funding.
The city has recently approved or spent more than $1 billion for 3 major construction projects. At the same time, the mayor is announcing budget cuts and potential layoffs.
We'll begin the furlough process June 1.
$800 million approved for the National Western Complex. $70 million allocated for a new professional women's soccer stadium. $175 million spent for construction on the 16th Street Mall.
All things that can be drivers of revenue. We think it's important in those moments to keep doing this.
Today, Mayor Mike Johnston told Denver City Council spending money on these investments is a critical step towards increasing revenue.
All those long-term investments that have become real economic drivers for the city.
The money for these construction projects comes from capital funds generated by things like taxes, grants, or bonds. The city emphasizes not a single dollar replaces an employee or cuts a city program, even as the city's general fund faces a $250 million shortfall over the next 2 years. Simply put, the money is allocated to different pools.
Those are the kinds of things that bear fruit if people are out and spending money, right? Because we're relying on basically sales tax revenue for those things to eventually be worth it.
The mayor says there's precedent for investing in challenging times.
Convention Center was first proposed in the midst of would have been the 1987 recession, Coors Field in the 91 recession, and then Union Station was launched in 2008.
So are these investments working right now? In the first kickoff weekend for the 16th Street Mall, the mayor says that about 100,000 people went down there. If you look historically back to 2019, before the pandemic, before everybody left from downtown, the 16th Street Mall was seeing an average of about 20,000 people per day. Kyle.
Can't get caught in that spiral, right? Where people aren't spending money, then they don't have money to spend, and round it goes.
Important.
Yep. Mark Salinger, thank you.
While there's been much criticism of how much Johnston has spent on homelessness and if that's contributed to this budget pinch, the mayor batted that away, saying that's been an investment in city growth.
So we do not have any encampments in our city center. We don't have any large encampments anywhere in the city. If you are running a business in the city,
that was just downtown, man.
Home in the city, that is a transformational change that makes you more likely to do business here or live here.
Along the same lines, he was hopeful that revitalizing downtown will bring back.
It's trash. It's just trash. So. Anywho, that was not fun to look at. So, let's see. Okay, I can't right now. Thank you for watching Front Line Blacc News. Yeah, my hair is all wild. Thank you for watching Front Line Blacc News. This is season 5, episode 10, part 3, continuation. Just went to sleep. I had to deal with it. Stay black, stay dangerous. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna do the RDA. I got some funny shit to show. I also got to cover the Diddy trial, which I said I was going to be doing. So I catch you up because I did it last week. I think I did it last week. I haven't been feeling well since went to the concert, and my like y'all know I had surgery, so I think my wound's not healing, and I think it's infected again. So I think that's why I got sick over the last couple of days. So we'll see. I'll probably do it tomorrow. It's supposed to rain, so we'll see. We'll see. I know that Frontline Blacc News isn't coming back until Saturday, I believe. So stay black, stay dangerous. Obviously, you'll see Jesse all over the place because he can't stay off the internet. And yeah, so we'll have more news coming Saturday at usual scheduled time of 10 p.m. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. So stay black, stay dangerous. Keep your head on a swivel, and yeah. So like I said, I'm your host, Seduction Doll, and I will be back with the RVA probably tomorrow. We shall see. Yeah, we shall see. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for staying up with me. A little eyeball, whoever's watching. Thanks for Leonard, who's in here. Who else was in here? Let me see. And Mac. Yeah, so thank you, and thanks for watching Front Line Blacc News earlier and Chicago's Black Experience Enhanced. Hope you learned much, and good to see Shabaka back in the swing of things. So yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned. We'll have more news and more stuff coming up. I'm sure Jesse will have a busy thing on Saturday, the tangibles and whatnot. So yeah, thank you, and yeah, see you soon. Thank you for watching Front Line Blacc News.